Hey, I'm Nashi.
I'm Rezlar.
And I'm Frosty. Welcome back to the Value Pack.
Hold on, I have to gear check Nash right now. Alright, that is some bull jabber. Dude, he CC'd me how to dance. What's happening? Rezlar!
People look at you like you're crazy, and they refuse to admit that it's pay to win, and just scream that it's pay to convenience! It's pay to convenience!
Big money, big money, big money, big money!
Oh shit, we got it! We fucking got it! And welcome everybody to another episode of the Value Pack. Not much to talk about today. Should be a short episode, and of course I'm kidding. We skipped last week, and on top of skipping last week, we have just a mountain of topics to talk about this week. They released a dev commentary. The Global Labs was insane. We now have information about the loot of Calpheon Elvia, including a new side grade for the Blackstar weapons. And we got to get to all of that. But first, let me thank our lovely, lovely patrons, Garmoth.com, Hawaiian, Laggy Skills, Melt on Your Mouth, Manaria, and Wavesy. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show, and everybody who supports us on our individual Twitch channels, which you can find in the description down below. Frosty, Nayashi, hello, hello.
Hello, hello. So, based on that, I feel like we're going to be able to wrap this up in 30 minutes, right? Yeah?
Yeah. Quick show, for sure. Quick show. Yeah, so we skipped last week, which is probably obvious to all of the listeners. We had some IRL stuff going on, plus there was the Tuvala Cup going on, which we didn't really want to conflict with. For anybody who missed it, the Tuvala Cup happened. Me and Frosty watched it together, the finals. It was a good time. FMR team won, Reezy, Flannels, and Ming.
Those finals were epic, really by the way. The finals were so good.
Dude, they were really, really good. The second place team, which was Belly, Sapti, and help me with the Kitna. What was the Kuna's? Kitna, thank you. And Kitna, they did an absolutely amazing job. They took Reezy's team, Reezy, Flannels, and Ming all the way to set 7, which I didn't think was going to happen. Frosty, I don't think even you thought it was going to happen. You wanted it to happen, but I think even you said you thought it was going to be 4-2, not 4-3.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be hard. I thought it would end in 6.
Yeah, which was, I mean, what an insane fight. And then Belly almost killing Reezy in the 1v1, and then
Kitna also almost killing him.
Yeah. But like you got to admit, like once Kitna lost, everyone was kind of like, all right, well, that's probably it. And then Belly almost kills him. Yeah, good luck taking out Suck Kuno on a witch and a striker. And then Belly almost kills him, and then Sapti has an absolutely insane performance against him. It was such a crazy thing. I hope they do these more often, man.
Dude,
but we're not here to talk about the tournament.
It keeps burning it. It's burned into my mind. Belly catching Reezy, starting off the combo, Reezy V, and then catches him out of the V and just barely doesn't do enough damage. And Belly ended up saying because he didn't have he said Fireball Explosion was on cooldown, so he had to improvise and was not able to secure it.
It's rough.
Dang. But we're not here to talk about the tournament. We're here to talk about Global Labs because, goddamn, a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Frosty, if you want to take the lead on our first topic, Calpheon Elvia items, we finally got information about them.
We did. So before we get to that, I just want to address briefly. They appear to be done balancing. So everything is where it needs to be now. Everything is good. We're all perfectly happy with the balance now, right? Is that how you guys all felt about it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, no.
Yeah. No, there were no class balance changes this week, which I expected because KR actually got the balance changes. So I was like, well, I guess they're done, which for me personally was disappointing because of PvE being bad on a lot of classes, not just Awaken Kuno, but
Kuno.
There's a lot of classes that are, even if they're not terrible, they're not great. And you still, like, the difference is enough that you probably are griefing yourself for grinding on them. Classes like Awaken Musa at high-end spots, Awaken Tamer, Awaken Corsair, Awaken Kuno, Suck Valk. Like Valk didn't get any love. They're pretty horrendous. I don't know. There's a lot of classes that could use a little PvE love that I'm really surprised didn't get any. And I guess
But
that's done. So I don't know.
most importantly, mooses are back at Manschwams, and at the end of the day, isn't that all that really matters?
They did separately shadow buff Musa by buffing Manchums. Yeah, that is true, dude. They
so that
actually
means we need
are.
to nerf them immediately, please.
Yeah, and the other thing is we got all of the loot changes on our live server,
Mm-hmm.
and they're pretty dramatic. They're not subtle, and some of them are like a little bit more intense than what you might have thought just reading through the notes. As an example, Manchums is crazy because you get an insane amount of Calpheon stones there now. Like, it's not a few more, it's a lot more.
Yeah.
I'm seeing crazy numbers at Histria, Akhman, Kratuga. Kratuga is the crazy one because the amount of trash that's dropping there is... Yeah, it doesn't even make any sense. It's just a crazy amount.
I was
It's
seeing
not-
like numbers like 15K and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Is that right?
15, 16. Someone had an 18K hour or like 17 point something.
Jesus.
If I remember correctly, isn't Kartuga also the place where like now literally any artifact can drop? It's like the only
Mhm.
grind spot they made that a thing where literally any artifact in the game can drop from there, which is a weird thing.
Is it any or
That
is
is
it?
actually weird.
Let me see. Is it in the,
Any
it's probably
any
not
other
in drop
than I
table,
think
right?
I think are there life skiller artifacts actually?
Yeah,
Can't remember.
There are.
I know there's light stones. I don't know about artifacts.
No, there are light skill artifacts. Yeah.
Okay.
There's
Well, I
like
don't think.
there's one for
okay.
each category.
Any
if it's
except the
XP
life
or...
ones.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I think it is. Yeah.
Where's Kratuga? Is it not on this
It's
list? What do they call it in the
Medaya.
drop?
Hazra.
Oh yeah, Hazra. Oh here, no, they just call it Kratuga on the drop information table. Yeah, dude, look at, it's like, yeah, just all of these.
Oh, does it just show all
yeah,
of them?
look at this screenshot. Hold on, I'm gonna put this in the Discord. Look, that's the item drop table.
What the hell? Oh my god.
Yeah. So, but
I really wish. Sorry, I don't mean to
Oh, you're good.
continue with more random bullshit, but I really wish they would make these artifacts look different, man.
Same. Like, look how many look the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of these Lesha's artifacts are the exact same look for all the melee damage reduction, melee evasion, magic evasion, all DR, monster
Like
DR.
even if there was just like a little icon like at the bottom that indicated like melee, ranged, magic, all something like that, right?
Mhm.
Like even that would be fine. The fact that there's no way at a glance to differentiate between them is kind of like bizarre and stupid. I don't know what the words are.
Yeah. Did the yeah, I don't know. Did the trash loot value change or just how much that drops there?
I think the
'Cause-
trash loot changed slightly.
Because it says 8K. Wasn't it only 4.5? Is it the same? Maybe it was, I guess. Oh, yeah, it was always like half of history. That's why.
I sent a screenshot of what a buddy of mine that was doing Kartuga looked like. He's so desperate to get the melee accuracy one, and he's getting everything but that.
Yeah, people are getting like 5-10 an hour there. It's kind of crazy. I'm trying to find Manchums on this list real quick.
I need to go get my other all DR then.
I actually saw, as a quick aside, I saw an update. Someone, I think it was JM, tested a 5-man hour at Gyphon, the upper Gyphon, because it got buffed. And
Right.
he had an hour where he got like 590 mil.
Wow.
And while that's still not like crazy numbers, but he was saying
It's XP
that-
zone, right?
Yeah. Well, I think they did buff the EXP there too. I think, but I don't remember. But they buffed a bunch of
they
stuff
did.
there. The trash loot is higher. It drops more Calpheon, like everything. I think it drops more Calpheon. I don't know. But anyway, he made a good amount of money, and he was saying that like he can do it, like, because someone immediately was like, well, you just go to underground, and he's like, yeah, but I could do this with 50 less sheet AP and be completely fine. Like, my
True.
whole group doesn't really need that much gear to do this. So and
Yeah,
it was his
that's a
first
solid
ever
argument.
hour. His first ever hour. So it's like if they actually like try to optimize a little bit. I don't know. My issue with up there is I don't know that there's a rotation with enough mobs anymore.
Well,
I
with
feel
how
like
the
you'd-
clear speed is, yeah, probably
Yeah, because
not.
what is it? They're still doing the same 5 spots, like the top, middle, bot, whatever. The same poles. I don't even know what the rotation.
I don't know anymore. I haven't been up there in such a long time.
But anyway, that one got changed a little bit. I don't know if it's crazy, but it's different. I don't know.
The money sounds
Everything
good,
has
though,
changed.
for lower AP player.
Spectre's energies are dropping like candy at places.
Yeah, I've actually gotten 2 randomly from where did I get these? Maybe ShareCon? Not sure. Maybe it was ShareCon. I can't remember.
Dude, and then it's also having fangs stack and crystals stack.
That's got to be just a godsend.
Dude. Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Did you see the sealed black magic crystal orb
Yeah.
that comes from
Mhm.
Star's End now, from the main guy, the boss, the mini boss one? Yeah, it's pretty much almost guaranteed every one, I think, but I thought that was pretty
I
interesting.
think it just goes into like that's just how it looks now, right? I actually haven't grinded at a spot that drops them.
The only time I got that was from the big guy.
Did you get any normal
Um,
crystals from the little guys?
I'm trying to recall. I think I did, but I would have to go back to confirm, honestly,
I don't
because
know.
I was kind of more
Yeah,
focused
that's
on
what
seeing
all
how many
BMs
discos dropped.
Yeah, that's what all the BMCs look like now. That's how it works. That's just like
Uh,
the straight BMC drop.
Maybe I
And
had some left over from the previous day before the patch.
yeah, so the way it's kind of like the weapon boxes that you get at lower end
Yeah.
spots. It's basically a sealed crystal box, and then you open it and get the crystal that you're supposed to get.
Which,
Gotcha.
by the way,
Yeah.
speaking of Fang stacking, when are they gonna do that with all the other things?
Yeah, I was gonna say I brought this up. If let's say they did remove, and this is a question for people who like to, who can look at the the pessimistic view of why Pearl Abyss does everything, right? Because everything is
Okay, I'm here.
for
Let's go.
money. Yeah, everything is
Right.
for
Yep.
money. So
100%.
someone was saying, what would the point of us having our maids be if they did change all of the other scrolls? What would you use market maids for? Like for the people that have a bunch. Because I was saying I still think there's stuff I use, but I probably wouldn't use all of them anymore. But I don't know. I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
I
I don't know.
mean, the stacking.
No, you can't use market maids for trash loot. Someone guessed trash loot. Market. I'm talking about the ones that are just for the market.
Use trash loot, but
Yeah, the storage maids do. I mean,
But you can
I
also just stack on your horse.
yeah, because I also think they should just make it not stackable. And we still use our maids, but maybe not as much.
yeah, I use my maids all the time. It's the market
Spirit
maids I don't use
stones.
nearly as much.
There you go, spirit stones.
Yeah, spirit stones. Yeah,
It's good enough reason.
Now,
I mean,
to
I don't
the
think.
res-
Here's the thing. I think it's really silly that people feel the need to have 50 maids in the first place.
Well, I'm gonna defend myself on that. Okay, first of all,
Uh huh.
well, wait, this guy has a good point. He's saying it stacks, but it still uses one maid per item. So if you're transferring groups, the maids still make sense.
Sure.
So that makes sense. So I bought maids early on, and I regret it because I didn't realize they were gonna give away maids like once every
Yep.
month or two.
And at the time, we needed them badly.
At the time, it was a miracle if you got a maid. It was like you only would get the maids from the loyalty rewards from playing for a long time. Remember, you'd get one of each maid or something. So I
That
got
was
maids.
basically it.
Yeah, back when we were because do you remember trying to bid on items? You needed a market
Not
maid,
possible.
didn't you?
Yeah, actually, I think you did.
Back in the day, if I remember
the
correctly.
The original system, I think, did.
Yeah, so it's just I have a bunch of maids, and I probably bought like 15 to 20, and then they kept just giving us maids. And now every time I get a maid, I'm just like, God, I just would love to not have
Like I'm
bought those.
looking at 42 maids, but I think I have more. No, I have an even amount of both storage and central.
Yeah, I
They
have
also they also
39.
had a lot of deals too, where you get two maids of your choice for like
But
half price during like events, like holiday events and stuff like that. So
for the record, to clarify what I was saying, is that I think that it's silly that we had a system in which people felt the need to have so many maids, right? And I think Prohibus probably at first was like, oh yeah, we can make a lot of money doing this, but now it's not good for new players. It's not a good thing for new players to feel like they have to like
Yeah.
get like a million maids to like do things, right? And yeah, they give out a lot of them for free, and that's really really nice. But it's one of those it's one of those things, right? It's one of those pay for convenience things.
yeah, I mean, to be fair though, like you said, they give out a lot now
Absolutely.
to kind of get players started, and
And I think that's
that a
another
new
way that
player.
they're trying to make it easier for new players.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But from a new player's point of view, they probably honestly aren't really using a lot of them. You know, it's usually when you get to like the more veteran players that
Oh no, I
know what they're
disagree.
utilizing for.
You're telling me that when you're a new player and you go grind out in Valencia and you have 5 million fucking scrolls in your inventory and you don't have 192 slots because you're a new player, you haven't bought 192 inventory slots, you don't need to use maids to fucking put those scrolls in your warehouse?
Well, you can use a combination of the storage mage to throw it in your storage in Valencia, hypothetically, or
Yeah, but you still need
yeah,
maids for that.
yeah, but they give usually an equal amount of both, right?
Well, they
Sure,
always give you
but
an option.
if you give one maid a month, right? Let's even say two maids a month, and then they have a sale. You can get two for price of one in the cash shop as a new player. Let's say, so you have 4 maids. Is that enough to store all of the scrolls that you're getting in fucking Valencia with drop rate bonuses from being a new player and events going on, things of that
No.
nature? I mean,
Now,
that screenshot you linked the other day, Nyashi, of someone grinding, I believe it was Histria. They had, I think, 101 scrolls.
yeah. So that's actually a good point to your whole them doing the same thing for the venom fangs to other
Yeah,
items.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
was
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I'm in agreement with you with that piece where scrolls, I think they need to update the system, no longer utilize this whole like what is it? The auto arrange uncheck so you can
The
make
put
this
in
stupid shape. Yeah.
yeah, shape.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get rid of
yeah.
that. Get rid of that garbage. It's not necessary anymore. Just have the scrolls on you, and if you have 5, you can turn it into,
Yeah,
you know,
simple alchemy or something.
Yeah.
simple
And that's
alchemy,
all I'm
and turn
saying
it
is
into
I
a
think that
awakened or whatever.
these changes they've been making lately are a big push to like help new players. And I think that like scrolls
Yeah,
is another aspect that I could see them doing here soon and that I think they need to do, honestly.
yeah. I think it's just easy with the venom. I mean, the venom is an example of them essentially tapping into messing with the scrolls because those are essentially scrolls, right?
Yeah. No,
So
they are. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, they need to do it for the rest of the scroll
Also,
types for sure.
Frosty, you know you're
Yep.
offline in Discord again, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Thanks for reminding me.
I
But
was
yeah, more
wondering I was wondering, I was like, man, Frosty is really, really late getting on today.
um,
more stackable things to
yeah,
your point
Yes.
I
is
More
always
stackable
a good thing
things.
for newer players
yeah.
experience because inventory management is if any my poor stream, they look at my inventory, they're like, "What the fuck?"
So there's the debate
Like,
going on in
I'm
chat.
a veteran.
I don't think you need 30 plus maids. Like I even before, like I don't know. It's with the scrolls. It always kind of sucked because you have to just turn them into the scrolls. Then you have 7 days to do them. But
Right.
Yeah.
some of the spots where you get that many scrolls, like History and
Yeah.
Katuga and stuff, weren't really that popular until recently. And then back in the old days, you just weren't getting nearly as many. So I
Sure.
like
Yeah.
they should just do it with all of the scrolls. I completely agree. It's not impossible to survive without having a bunch of maids though. Because
No.
Like
But
Bloom,
it's extremely inconvenient.
It is.
it's extremely
It is.
inconvenient. Yes,
And I think you get better new player retention if you make things more convenient instead of saying bust out your wallet to make it more convenient.
Right. For sure.
And I think that's what Pearl Abyss is realizing, is that they've added so many pay for convenience things, and it's like, as veteran players, we're kind of have Stockholm syndrome, and we're like, sure, but as a new player, you're like, okay, well, why can't this just be like a thing that is like fixed in the game?
Yeah.
Agreed. And again, like now someone's like, yeah, I don't need the maids because I have max inventory and weight. But like I always reference like Bear and Bloom in this regard because neither of them buy anything. They just don't spend money on the game, and they take long enough breaks that they also don't receive all of the free stuff. And they both got on just fine without buying all that stuff.
Oh, absolutely. You can make it work being a completely free-to-play player.
Yeah, they didn't buy pets. They didn't buy maids. They loyalty, weight. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's inconvenient and it's better. Yeah. I'm not defending that they shouldn't be able to, but the notion that they can't is also false, especially today compared to before. 4 years ago, it was you couldn't go to Sawson's without having something. Yeah. It was like you needed something. It felt fucking impossible.
It was pretty rough.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember Day Creeper, Frosty?
Yeah.
Yeah, completely free-to-play player, never spent a dime on the game, and was fairly geared, and was
He's still fairly geared. He's still, he's in, I think he's in Vertex.
More geared than me?
way more geared than you, yeah. I mean, come on.
Well, he's actually playing, just there's a difference.
Okay, hold on now.
Anyway, overall, the changes were pretty wild this week. More impactful than I thought they were going to be, and there is this sense that I'm afraid of Calpheon Elvia, which we're about to talk about, because right now, all of these spots are really good, and you can go to any one of them and not feel like you're completely wasting your time. Some are more efficient than others, but the margin is a lot smaller. So if you're comfortable there, or you prefer a spot, it makes sense to just go where you want to go rather than going somewhere where you feel like you have to go to be contested. It's not just, well, at least now we have Star's End and Secrea. Like now it's 10, 12 spots that are really, really good. I'm afraid Elvia might take that away, but we'll see. Yeah.
Elvia is going to be... Go ahead, Presley.
Can we talk about how I think personally that it was such a smart move to actually separate grind zones into different essentially categories?
That's true.
Like money making or
XP gain or cappers.
Exactly. I like, because it already was kind of like that, but it was really a player thing rather than a game thing, right? People kind of had in their mind, they were like, all right, well, Gyphon lower polys and hex, the hex place. What's the fucking
hex?
Yeah, but the specific area, what's that called? The area where the mobs come to destroy the thing and you have to defend it or whatever. Doesn't it have a specific name? Anyway, those are...
I'm sorry, I missed it. I got distracted by Nash saying Kaffers. What was it?
What is the Frosty? You've grinded there a million times. The Hex Marie where you defend the thing from the skellies that spawn. What is that called?
Marie Cave.
Does that have a name? Is it just Marie Cave?
Marie Cave, yeah. It's just Marie Cave.
Okay. Well, those areas are really good for EXP and SP, right? But that was more of just like a players noticing it thing and less of a like intentional game design thing, I think. And so now having it actually be like, no, like this is the place that you want to go for really, really good EXP. No. This is the place you want to go for good Caphras. This is the place you want to go for like artifact drops, right? I think that was really intelligent game design, personally.
An added bonus to that too is when I first read that, I thought that was going to be the only thing, which I don't think that many people want to go to a spot that only gives you EXP, but they also made the money better everywhere too. So it's like
absolutely
coupled with all of it.
Like look at the potion grind spots. They increased the trash value of those spots by like over double in some cases, I think, so that you can actually make more than 20 million silver an hour grinding for your fucking pod pieces.
Yeah, I saw 400. It was like 460 mil an hour at Shira Ruins or something, which is just fucking crazy.
Yeah. Now
not bad.
as nice as all this is, uh, man, inflation is so bad in this game right now. and
Honestly, I don't necessarily
Is
see
it?
the problem with it.
Well, at least a lot of these spots are not Elvia that got buffed in this patch, right? There's spots that at
Absolutely,
least generate
yeah.
items.
Like,
Items, yeah, which is a
look
good thing.
look at it this way, Rez. Like the biggest problem that BDO has is that probably isn't really acknowledged all that much by the devs, or maybe they are acknowledging it now, is that it
Resists.
takes a long time for players to gear up and get to relevant gear scores. They've been adding in these systems where it's catch up mechanics and stuff like that over the last like roughly year and a half, 2 years,
Mhm.
and updating all these zones to give a lot more money. Yeah, sure, it might look like inflation, but at the same time, that's going to help these players, these newer players, get caught up a lot faster so that they can actually enjoy the elements of the game that everyone else is that have been playing.
Yeah, yeah,
Whether it's
true.
PvP or higher gear score or higher gear zones. So I don't see it as a bad thing as far as like the inflation aspect of it. I think it's just an overall more enjoyable experience that you can go to wherever you want and still not feel like Frosty said earlier, like I'm wasting my time being here kind of thing. Like cuz grinding
Right.
at these pop piece zones, I feel like I'm wasting my time, but it's not as bad right now because I'm still making decent money to some level. Not obviously near as much as I'd prefer, but I'm not losing money it feels like,
Well, actually, I,
needing the pop temp buff and stuff.
I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but is there even like compared to the week prior, is there any like major things that have gone up in price?
No, not really.
Well, no, I think that, but
The pen accessories have been like
things have
fluctuating
been
hard.
inflated for a long time, mostly because of Elvia, right?
Yeah, like
And
everything went up
so,
Yeah,
a bit.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah, so then adding more silver to the game, but I think you do make a good point, Frosty, of like a lot of these locations drop items, and that is what I think has been sorely missing in the marketplace is there's a lot of
yep,
silver, but not a lot of like items because people are just grinding Elvia, which drops no items. So
yep, yep.
even though people are getting more trash and therefore more raw silver at these locations, they're also getting items, which is kind of stabilizing that effect, I guess. So that's a good point.
Yeah, some people are saying pen accessories went up, but I'm looking and basically none of them have gone up at all since the change. There's some went up a
Yeah, and
few
I
weeks
wouldn't say
before
since the
the change, but after the
Yeah,
change, nothing. It's either gone down or stayed the same. Like Dawn earrings randomly before the change went all the way to like they were selling
skyrocketed.
for 140, and then the recent ones are 123. But all the other accessories are fairly normal. Like Revived
Yeah,
Lunar Neck at one point was 155, and now it's
yeah,
max
it was
price
fucking
120,
insane.
sitting on buy.
Yeah, what did you buy your dons for? Your
Well,
don?
dude, I bought my first Dawn for 71.5 bill, and then
What?
my second Dawn for 120 bill a while
See, if
back.
it was that price, I would have saved out and not bought the ogre right away.
Yeah, that was my initial reasoning for going for Dawns early. I was like, dude, I'm not gonna spend 50 bill more for a revived lunar deck or 60 bill. I'd rather just have the Dawn.
Yeah. Yeesh.
Just so you know, I am going to do an hour at Thornwood, and I'll let you know how crazy it is,
All right.
or if it's bad.
All right, let's talk about Calpheon Elvia. So Calpheon Elvia, they announced some of the loot. We still don't know the trash values and a lot of the little things, what the crystal drop rates will be, if any, etc., etc. But they did announce some of the items that will be dropped from Elvia, and the big one that is a cause of controversy across the entire globe is the God-eyed weapon, or Godder. What are they calling it? Godder.
I think it's the
Godder.
Godderide weapon.
Godder. Yeah, something like that.
Didn't you say they put the R in the wrong place? God
Yeah,
Ray?
it's just the God Ray weapon, and it will drop. There's going to be material that drops in exclusively in Calpheon Elvia that you're going to use to enhance this. I believe it's not going to use just normal stones. I guess it's going to use this new material. At least that's
Yeah.
kind of how I understood it. But um it has a whole new enhancement path. So it's basically a Pen Blackstar. Once you have one of these at Pen, it's a Pen Blackstar but with a purple hue. So instead of red, it's purple, and it actually does. It looks pretty sick. If your class matches with purple, let me see if I could copy.
DK would probably be a good example of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What other classes have purple?
DK, Sork,
Suck Guardian.
Yeah,
Suck Guardian. It'd probably fit with Nova. Yeah, Awaken
that's
Nova.
right. Suck Guardian AoE is purple.
I also think it fits with Suck Hash too. Suck Hash is, I know this sounds so weird, but they actually have a lot of purple in most of their skills.
Do
But
they?
it's like, it's like a subtle purple hue on higher end settings. Like when you use Descent, you see purple shading on the ground. When you use the tornadoes, you can see purple in the tornadoes.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, Suck Sage too. The purple would kind of match Suck Sage skills. But anyway, so it has a different look and it has a different upgrade path. So essentially, you would transfer or convert a Tet Blackstar into a plus 15 God Eye weapon, and then from there you can enhance it gradually from plus 15 to Pry, Duo, Tri, Tet, and Pen. And then they have different enhancement rates and different at different stacks, and they give you different amount of stats in between, and they require a different amount of Cron Stones to protect. So
Which actually the Cron Stone amounts aren't really all that expensive.
Well, individually, right? So in totality, if you were to enhance, if you are starting from base, and you're comparing a Tet Blackstar to a Pen Blackstar versus a Tet Blackstar to a Pen God Eye, the God Eye Cron-wise on average per attempts, if you actually go through with the whole enhancement process, is much more expensive, like 40 bill more, essentially. Somewhere between like 40 and 45 bill more worth of enhancement mats over time. With average luck, that could be worse, could be better depending on your RNG. But
yeah.
So I just want to get that out of the way. And before I kind of try to explain it, I'm curious your guys' opinions on this, what your initial reaction was and how you feel about this before I try to defend it. Because Rez, you also said you have something you want to ask about it.
Questions.
Yeah, you have questions. So Nyasha, you go first, and then Rezlo, you go with your initial impression, and then give me the question.
All right. So initial reaction, I mean, I think it's actually probably a good thing. It goes along the whole line of, helping newer players get gear relevant to what the veteran players have. I do understand why players are upset that actually enhanced or bought the Pen Blackstars themselves, because they, in their minds, they went through the hard part and earned it. But based on, how the enhancement is going to be, it's a progression style version of it where they incrementally get a little bit more power. So it's just an alternative route. I don't really see it being easier. I mean, as you said, it's probably going to cost around 40 bill more on average.
Yeah.
With average RNG, so it's not like it's going to be, like a lot of players initially are like, oh, my Pen Blackstar was a waste of time. I don't think that's the case. I think they'll find that players that are going this route ultimately are struggling to finish it, and they'll probably stop at Tet a lot of the time for quite a while. I think that's what a common thing will end up being. So I think it's fine. I think it kind of leads towards what they're doing and trying to make things easier on newer players. And even some of the veteran players that are still behind, like, I mean, arguably myself, still catching up. I'm not hella far behind, but I'll probably make use of this on my main hand. So
Rez, your thoughts?
it's controversial though.
So okay. So I think it's fine. I'm just confused because they say that, like, okay, so Blackstar enhancing to Pen is really hard, right? They said this in the video. They're like, Blackstar Pen enhancing is really, really hard. It's not for the faint of heart, like yada yada yada, this, that, and the other. So their solution to this is to implement a system in which you have to enhance slightly less difficult rates multiple times.
Until the last rate, that's actually more difficult.
until the last rate, which is more difficult. And I'm wondering how this is a solution to that problem.
Well, they said
Now, I think
they,
the item.
hold on, real quick, because you left out half the quote. They also said that this isn't going to be easy to enhance to pen. They were very clear about that. That this enhancement process is not going to be easy to get it to pen. That is in the video.
I'm wondering what their idea of putting it in the game is, though. Then,
all right, so can I try to explain?
My thinking is, because I think you and some other people on Reddit saying like the smart thing to do is to get it to try and let it sit, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes like a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what the developers think you should do.
100% think that is exactly what they want you to do. That is the whole point of this weapon system. So everyone keeps looking at the reason why I think people are upset. Well, there's like 4 or 5 reasons people are upset. One, the obvious one, is people are just irrational, and if it doesn't benefit them immediately, they're just going to be inherently pissed. So, for example, there are veterans that looked at this similar to the guaranteed pen crescent and thought, oh, once I get this, if it's super cheap and easy, I could just sell mine. I'll have 100 bill left over and still have this cool weapon. But you can't do that because this is really hard to enhance, so that there's no benefit there. In fact, you would just be screwing yourself over. The other reason I think people are upset is because when the initial video came out, people thought this was a guaranteed item, similar to Jatina quest stuff, which was not the case. And then lastly, I think the problem is everyone keeps comparing the pen item to pen Blackstar, but new players are not going for pen Blackstar. Pen Blackstar is not a new player item, so that's problem number 1 with the whole like, well, this doesn't help new players get a pen Blackstar. Pen Blackstar is not a new player item. Most people don't even have a Tet Blackstar until long after Tuvala is done, and then they'll get a Tet Blackstar or a pen weapon and Calpheon at a couple levels to try to hit a bracket. This is for people this is for people that already have a Tet Blackstar or a Zarka at like C3 or C5. It's not for a brand new player. The J hammers are for new players. This is not for brand new players. This is for the people that are trying to bridge the gap between or stomach the idea of going for something higher than what they have, but the idea of going for a pen Blackstar is like, fuck that. That's so expensive. There's no way I can save 100 bill. There's no way I'm going to be able to get 3,600 crons, which by the way now costs around 5 bill to do, even if you get all the crons exclusively with costumes. So what you do, and Rez, this is the funny thing about this is we've like totally flip-flopped, because you were totally okay with the Obsidian stuff, which was a total and complete dead end, where this is not, because A, it gives you a path to go all the way if you want to down the road, but it also gives you an out because every level of these is sellable. You can get rid of it and sell it on the marketplace at any of the enhancement levels. So if you end up changing your mind on it, or I'm just going to save up and buy a pen Blackstar, and I'll sell this to help me get there, you can also do that. But here's the thing. It's not going from Tet to pen that this item is for. It's for people that are going to get it to try and leave it at try for a long time, and then maybe down the road get it to Tet. Even if you get it to Tet, so if you compare the Tet version of this item compared to a Tet Blackstar with the same math that the guy posted on Reddit, I think someone broke it down. It's essentially like instead of comparing the 140 bill to get that last level, because it's really fucking hard to get that last level, if you compare it just at Tet, you save on average, if you were to get it in an average amount, like 35 bill compared to going for a pen Blackstar. And your stats are really, really close. You still gain 5 AP. You still gain 5 AP. You still gain 9 accuracy. You gain, let's see, let me add this up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You still gain 9 monster AP. So your sheet AP goes up. Your accuracy goes up. Your monster AP goes up. And then I think people are just going to chill there for a really, really, really long time, if not just forever. This is not for the people that can play 10 hours a day and snipe costumes all day and all that. It's more for, hey, do you want something between what a Tet Blackstar is and a Pen Blackstar is? Because here's a way to get it relatively easily. And I also think people will overstack a lot of these to be higher than the rates that you see. I doubt people will go for it on low stacks if it means they're going to fail a lot. So to me, that's all it is similar to what Obsidian was supposed to be, except it doesn't give you a hard and fast dead end with no way out and no way to recuperate any of the cost that you invested. That's kind of my thing.
I do agree that this is a better version, essentially, of Obsidian. But I just don't. I think where I disagree is you think that that's very intentional. I'm not so sure that's the case. I think that that's another thing where the players are realizing the essentially hidden potential of something that the devs did, which is a very consistent thing that happens in this game. Let's be honest.
I mean, I think the devs intended this.
Yeah, I don't see how you could say that. I mean, even the first 2 levels don't even cost Cron Stones, and they don't downgrade. Only going for tries where you downgrade, and then it's a lot more minimal cost. Essentially, going for a try on this is not too much different than just going for a Tet Blackstar. So if the people that were able to get a Tet Blackstar, if you stop at try, you gain 4 sheet AP, you gain 3 sheet accuracy, you gain 5 monster AP. For a lot of people, that's pretty big. I'm looking at the main hand weapon. That for a lot of people, that's pretty big. I guess it's identical for all of them. Well, yeah. I think every level's identical, except for the awakening one gives you all species damage at a certain point. So yeah, it's. I lost my train of thought because I was trying to see with these two, but basically, I think people are basically, because it doesn't cost crons for the first 2 levels and it's minimal crons for the third, I think that's the whole purpose of this item versus going straight up to pen. Yes, it's definitely worse. It's definitely less efficient to go straight to pen. But if you look at it in a... So, for example, I went for Tet Crescent or Pen Crescent rings when I first was like, man, I need pen accessories. My first pen accessories were Pen Crescent rings. I don't know why I don't see the same vitriol towards the Pen Crescents compared to something like this, because it's also a total waste of my money, and I eventually am going to have to get rid of it for a better item. And this kind of is that same middle ground. I'm not ready for a Pen Blackstar. But I still want more stats on what I have. So can I upgrade this? And then there's also the option of, well, you could just go Zarka or Dandy and Kaffir that. And that is true. And 100% you should do that even instead of going for a Pen Blackstar. But if you only really care about the PvE aspect, then this is still a better option, because this buffs your PvE in ways that the Zarka or Dandy do not. If that makes any sense. So, yeah, 4 AP is typically going to guarantee you get into another bracket. So, for a lot of people, always, I think it makes sense. Yeah, always.
Brackets are always 4 AP
until you're like 309, then it's 7 AP each. After that,
yeah.
So that's kind of how
scale up.
That's kind of how I see it. Should they tweak the end so it's closer to what a Pen Blackstar is? Probably, honestly. I think they should. They should probably tweak the Tet and the Pen slightly so it is closer to the same cost amount as enhancing a Pen Blackstar. But for 1 through 3, I actually think this is a really cool deal. And for me personally, I would do it if I didn't already have a pen, because the idea of a Pen Blackstar is crazy. Like here, I'll give an example. If they had a system similar to this for like an ogre, where I didn't have to completely jump from ogre to Debo, which is daunting as fuck for me, and I'm just not going to do it. If I could get something in between an ogre and a Debo for, I don't know, a 100 bill or a few hundred bill worth of enhancing, I might do that versus going for a Debo where I don't want to have to grind Ash Forest and grind et cetera, you know? At least that's how I see it. So it doesn't help veterans that already have Pen Blackstar. It doesn't help brand new players because brand new players don't already have a Tet Blackstar and aren't going for Pen Blackstar. It's helping the people somewhere in the middle where they just want to see an incremental upgrade without investing their entire lives into it. The big thing I'm curious about, and yeah, a lot of people are pointing out they're raising the max value of Pen Blackstar in the marketplace, so Pen Blackstar is going to cost
my
more.
life.
Yeah, so you're fucked, which means until that happens, probably no one. It's going to be very rare you see a Pen Blackstar listed. Sell it. Yeah, no one's going to sell it knowing they're.
And
going
by the
up.
time I was able to grind out 100 bill, probably the price is going to be increased already, so it's pointless.
Yeah. What is your AP with Kudum, Rez?
With Kudum right now, 281, 282.
So would going for a try or a Tet version of this be out of the question for you where you feel you're at?
No. That's why I said that's probably what I'm going to do. Is right now I'm just going to focus on Caffressing my armors a little bit. Get some more DP for Nodors specifically. And then whenever Calpheon Elvia comes out, probably get the try version of that weapon. And then from there, probably work on getting that necklace that I want. This is what I'm currently thinking is my objectives.
Yeah. And actually, you also said you're probably going to go for this, right? Instead of saving up for Pen Blackstar?
Probably.
So what levels would you both stop at based on the rates and stuff?
Probably try Tet.
Try. I hate enhancing, so get my try and call it there.
Yeah. They also said they're going to add an item that lets you swap from purple to red if you prefer the color of the purple. So you won't have to enhance a new one. If you're like, man, but I just want the purple, you're not going to have to enhance a new one up.
Using mats from Calpheon Elvia, yeah. I wonder if you can just change them, can you change from purple to red as well?
Yeah, I believe so. Here, wait, let me find the quote. Oh God, where was it? Let me see. It was somewhere in the patch note. I don't remember. It's after the GIF. Oh, okay. Let me see. Oh yeah. Considering the taste of the weapon's appearance and effect, the Pen Blackstar weapon and the Pen God-Eyed weapon will consume a material in the future to make them switchable. Both sides. So you can go either way. If you have the purple and you prefer the red, you can swap it. But I think it has to be, in order to do the swap, you have to have a pen version because that's what they show in this demo.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool they give that option. If you want a certain look, you know.
I'll probably swap to purple just because it's different, and that's it.
Really?
Probably.
Yeah, but then...
Even though I don't think I'd like it.
Everyone else is going to do purple.
Yeah, everyone else is.
Everyone's going to have purple.
If they came out at the same time, I'd probably go for red, but just because this one's new, I'm like, let's check out the purple one.
I already have purple glowing weapons, so I'm not too... it's whatever. I already have it.
I'm also really curious what these sell for at each level. How much is a duo going to sell for or try? That's the other thing too. Okay, so let's say you get it to try, Reslar, right? Let's say you get this weapon to try, and then you start grinding. A year goes by, and you're like, dude, I kind of want to get those last 4 AP. I need a Pen Blackstar. Or whatever the difference is. Now at that time you can save up, and instead of having to save whatever it's going to be 130 bill for the weapon, well, I don't know what the price increase is going to, but let's just say for sake of example it's 130 bill. Now you only have to save 80 or 90 bill, and then you can sell your try version of this weapon to make the difference and then buy it off the marketplace. Like you're not totally screwed. That's the thing that I hated so much about the Obsidian system, is that you have to work for all those materials and get all that stuff, and then they're just, when you yoink them out...
How did he CC me through my frontal guard?
I don't know. That's a very good question, actually.
Yeah, that's a great question, Rez. Actually, we wouldn't know. We wouldn't.
My
We
bad.
would do that. That's not.
Forgot to toggle the mute.
No, she got CC'd IRL right there. But yeah, I think being able to sell it and swap down the road is cool. And the thing that I hate about Obsidian, not only can you not sell it with the upgrades in the armor, but if you extract them, don't you get like 1/1,000,000th of the value back?
No. Well, okay, yes and no. So what you get when you extract it is you get the obsidian piece back. Now, that obsidian piece, as far as I'm aware, unless something has changed, can't be broken down back into the materials. But I mean, you do have it. Maybe one day they'll make it to where you can break it back down into the materials or just sell it at a vendor for an equivalent exchange amount. But yeah, no, you just get the obsidian piece back so that you can put it back into another piece of gear at a later point if you want to. So I have 2 obsidian pieces just sitting in my storage, basically.
Yeah, that's that is so weird to me. I actually can't believe they haven't done something.
It is very bizarre, and one of the things that I was hoping they would do with Calpheon Elvia is expand on the obsidian system, but obviously they haven't, and so now it's like, all right, is this just another like dead system then? Like what is the purpose of it, right? Just
Yeah.
more silver, more raw silver, I guess. I don't know. It sucks. I was kind of hoping they would do some more stuff with Obsidian, but obviously they haven't, or at least they didn't say they did. So
What is the value? I forget. I feel like it's been mapped out. What is it to get to level 4 on each piece? Is like 4 billion silver, right? If you grind it out, the raw silver of the materials you need.
Fuck, man, I think it was even higher than that. But honestly, I don't remember. It's been so long since I like paid attention to that stuff.
Like if they let you just vendor that item for half that value, would have been huge.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Like at this point, I'm not sure if they have no plans to do anything with Obsidian. They definitely need to at least let you like vendor it for some money back or break it back down into its components or something along those lines. I don't know. I guess until they decide what to do with that whole system, they're just gonna sit in my storage. I mean, it's not like they take up much space, so.
Yeah. I do want to talk about the Pen Blackstar price a little bit because a lot of people are like, well, this makes it harder for new players to get a Pen Blackstar if the silver price goes up, which is true in North America, but not necessarily true everywhere else. And I know no one really cares about other regions, but in a lot of other regions, some of these weapons just don't sell ever. They either never sell or very rarely sell, in particular the Awakening weapon. Ask anyone that mains or plays in EU how easy it is to buy an Awakening Blackstar weapon. It is, I mean, you're talking about gambling against 20, 30, 40 bids every maybe once a week, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if you're playing on a dead server, it definitely I could see why this would be beneficial for sure.
Shut up. If you, it's not a dead server. They just have no crons. They're dead with no crons. All right.
Oh, they're poor. I see.
Yeah. Yeah. For people that have a Tet Blackstar, it's just kind of now you get to actually just get an upgrade. There was always this vibe too. It sucks because these are Pen Blackstar or Blackstar in general is a PvE buff, right? It's not a PvP buff.
Yeah.
It never has been. In fact, at Pen compared to a C20 weapon, it's slightly worse because you get less species damage. But in PvE, it's an upgrade. And the thing that's always sucked about Tet Blackstar is because Pen Blackstar is so hard to get. When you have a Tet Blackstar, usually my recommendation for people that are like, well, I have 2 Tet Blackstars, but I'm stuck at 284 bracket. What should I do? It's like, well, you probably should get rid of the Blackstar if you play Succession, get rid of the main hand Blackstar so you can Caphras that up to C9 or C15 and actually get brackets. But now this is an option where they can get an additional 4 AP and not have to give up the monster AP.
Mm-hmm.
which is also pretty cool. And I really do think that people will sit on it for a long time, and then the value difference doesn't matter nearly as much, because you get value out of the item. It's almost like it's kind of the way people think, or the different mindsets of thinking when buying a house. To use an analogy, it's like some people buy the house just for the equity that it's going to build them over time. And then some people buy the house, it potentially gains equity, but also you're just living in that house. I think that's the difference that people don't see with this version of the weapon, is people are going to be living at Duo, Tri, and Tet. Honestly, a lot of them probably for the remainder of their days playing the game. I definitely could see someone getting this thing to Tri or Tet, playing for a year and a half, and then playing, moving on to a different game down the road, never having gone for a Pen Blackstar.
Yeah. Moving on to Arcage Unbundled.
I mean, ultimately, I don't foresee myself hitting this thing to Pen, but yeah, it was like getting the Tet is realistic and it's close enough. And like, especially because I play Awakening, like ultimately, I don't really need a massive amount of pre-awaken AP in order to be effective. It does help. Obviously, a little bit of that AP does go towards the awakening damage, but as long as it's close enough, I think that'll be plenty fine.
Yeah. So someone's asking what does it compare to in Caphras, in terms of Caphras. So it's plus 1 AP. So remember, a base Blackstar is equal to a C1 Dandy, right? Like it just has 1 more AP than a base Dandy. And I believe C1 gives you 1 AP. So yeah, I think wouldn't Tri be equal to C9 at that point?
9. I think either 9 or 11, I forget.
Because you gain 4.
Somebody posted the equivalent somewhere. I don't remember if it was on Reddit.
Yeah, I was actually curious about that. What does Tet equal out to?
I think Tet was like, I want to say like 13 or 15 or something like that.
That's not bad. It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
And you have the benefit of the monster AP, so it's it's really good. Oh, Tet is C13 supposedly from someone in chat.
Tet is equal to C13. Tri is equal to C9. Okay. So, yeah, if you just leave it at Tri, it's like having a C9 Pen Dandy, or C9 Pen main hand, whatever, which is pretty good.
Which is plenty. That's plenty fine. If you get the Tet, then even better. I mean, ultimately, it's the monster AP you're going to be utilizing it for. And if it's not your main damage dealing weapon, as far as like what kit you're in, if you're awakening, or if you happen to build up the awakening one and you're succession based, like it's fine. It doesn't need to be maxed out. It's like super in game last item type shit. It's not necessary.
And the other thing too is when you compare it to a Zarka or a Dandy, because a lot of people are like, well, why wouldn't you just Caphras up Zarka Dandy? It's way cheaper.
Monster damage.
Yeah, the thing is just a base Blackstar, if I remember off the top of my head, is 14 more AP, a base Tet Blackstar, and then more monster AP, and then this gives you an additional 2. It gives you an additional 5 at level 3 at Tri, and then another 4 on top of that, so 9. So at having a Tri one of these is 19 more monster AP than an equivalent Dandy, and having it at Tet is 23 more monster AP compared to equivalent Dandy.
And the reason why people that opt out of doing Blackstars entirely and just focus on Zarka is because they want the accuracy for PvP. That's it.
Yeah, if you're going to get it all the way to C20, then the accuracy becomes important. But even still, it's not like you don't get any. Like if you have this thing at Tet, you gain, 3, 4, 5, 6 accuracy. So you still have about half of what a C20 accuracy would be. And then on the last level, you get an additional 6.
Which is fine.
Yeah, and then the species damage for the Awakening weapon, the species damage comes at Tet and Pen. You get 1 more at Tet, 1 more at Pen. So I don't know. Overall, I actually think this is pretty cool, and I don't think it's going to be that hard to get it to Tri. it'll probably be roughly similar to getting a Tet Blackstar. Getting it to try, more or less. Also,
Yeah.
you only have to cron the try. You don't even have to use crons. It won't downgrade to 15. It won't downgrade to pry.
Yep. It'll wait.
Or when
If
sorry,
you fail, if
it
you
won't
fail
downgrade
try
to base.
attempt, it will down.
Yeah. Yeah, if you fail try, it'll downgrade. If you failed prior duo, it does not.
Correct. Yeah. Which is perfectly fine, honestly. That's fair. You don't have to buy crons. You could just fucking tap your way into try eventually. And then, you save all your crowns for the Tet attempts. And then once you're at Tet, that's fine. You don't have to do it anymore. You can leave it at that. Just becomes infinitely more expensive.
Yeah. Do you that's
I mean, I'm going to be doing it, so obviously, depending on how difficult it is to get the materials, I assume I'll be
Yeah.
able to grind there with my gear. We'll find out.
Yeah, well, some of the spots you'd have to go through the notes, but some of the spots are lower level. So a lot of people are like, "Well, what the hell? Who is this for? All these spots are 700 gear score plus spots, but like 3 of them aren't. I think 1 or 2 of them are 270 AP, which is fairly low, and only like 340 DP. Only a couple of them are really high end. I think 2 of them are super high end, like 290 and 300, but the rest are lower. Yeah, 270, 280, 300, and 310 AP spots. So there's kind of something for everyone there in terms of at least middle tier. The people that would actually want to upgrade from a Tet Blackstar are probably going to be able to grind at least some of the spots. So overall, I'm actually curious, do you think, and Rez, not to keep harping on this, but you were an Obsidian abuser. Do you think that they should change the Obsidian system to be like this or closer to this or give it some sort of path? Because I always thought it was weird that the Obsidian thing doesn't make enhancing easier to the next level. But then you also end up with a Pen Blackstar, which is also still a dead end.
Didn't they say in the video that they are thinking about this idea for armors in the future too?
I don't know. Maybe they did.
Maybe I'm
I
just
don't remember that.
making shit up, but I thought I heard something like that.
But yeah, I mean, I think that this system is better than the Obsidian system for sure. I think a lot of systems are better than the current Obsidian system. So yeah, I mean, if they want to change Obsidian to kind of mirror this system, I think that'd probably be fine. But yeah, I don't know. I also think literally anything would be fine because the current Obsidian system is just no bueno, unfortunately.
Yeah. Also, even if they did change it, you still end up with a Pen Blackstar that you have to upgrade to a Fallen God. It's like it's just a weirder thing because we don't have Fallen God weapon.
Right.
So it changes the equation a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. Either way, I kind of like this. They need to add this for the offhand too. By the way,
I'm sure they will.
If for nothing else, at least for the color scheme. Someone's pointing out, well, that's great. I get my Awakening weapon, my main hand purple, and then I'm gonna have a red offhand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll add it eventually.
Although the offhand one's probably way harder because the stat difference between that and pen is not. There's not as much stats you can add in between.
Yeah, the offhand is not as valuable to do this for, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. That's the controversial Blackstar thing. Just through and through, if you're going directly to pen on it, it is definitely less efficient than going for a pen Blackstar. Or just buying a pen Blackstar. Well, I don't know what the pen Blackstar price is going to be. So I guess you could argue they're similar once the pen Blackstar price changes.
I can't wait to see all the comments on this one.
I actually was curious, Rez, your thoughts on them announcing, both of you, them announcing that they're changing Pen Blackstar price so it affects the market before it actually comes to the market. Do you think that they should just release it and not say anything, or should they announce it ahead of time?
I think they kind of had to because they knew they were going to piss off a lot of veteran players.
I think I'm pissed off as someone who was saving up to buy a pen Blackstar. That was my current plan, and
Yeah,
now
but this is overall a cheaper option, you know? Like
it is not. I have. I no. Just no. The answer is no. It's just not. If you
which one were you going
enhance
for? Were you going for main hand or awakening?
main hand, do you not recall my enhancing RNG? Do I need to remind you of my luck with enhancing in this fucking game?
Yeah, I mean, your
I
enhancing is pretty good.
My enhancing in this game is dog shit. I can overstack a fucking bajillion. I can fucking do everything I possibly can to increase my odds. This game will not give it to me. The the idea that you can upgrade this thing to pen and it be maybe slightly cheaper than post price change Blackstar is just not a thing for me. It's not an option.
Yeah.
So basically what this comes down to is what this change means for me as someone whose enhancement RNG is probably the worst in the game. I get try because I can get try. You just cron it. It's not a big deal.
Hmm.
And then I save up now 100 and probably 50 billion silver instead of just 100 to get the fucking pin Blackstar.
I guess.
Well,
So,
I
like,
mean,
I get
arguably
it.
now.
As a buyer, I'm annoyed that they made the announcement before actually like putting the change in, because now there's absolutely no shot that like I'm gonna be able to buy it because nobody's gonna be selling them. Probably by the time I save up the money, it'll be too late anyways, in all honesty. But as a seller, I'm annoyed. Or rather,
If
if
you're a
I was a
seller, you're
seller,
okay with it.
I would be very happy about it.
Yeah. Or you'd end up being more annoyed if you sold it and they didn't
And
say
then-
anything, and then the next
Yep.
day it's like, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm actually curious where it sits at. I think if they made the market price 150, if that was the cap, whatever the cap ends up being, I still think it'd probably hover around 130
You think so?
ish. Yeah, I think they'd sit on buy around 130 because you have to if it's comparable to the cost, like somewhat, because most of the pen accessories sit kind of close to their value, and when they don't, people enhance them for profit, right? Or they just don't enhance them at all. You're better off buying. So it'll probably sit somewhere between 120 and 140, I think. Maybe
Yeah.
Awakening more because few have been made.
Well, yeah, probably. I don't think it's gonna stop at 150 though, do you? I feel like it'd go higher than that.
I don't think it'll be higher than that because it doesn't even cost that much to make it on average for people. And plus all the random hammer people that exist, like those ones just get passed around.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it's gonna be ultimately dependent on the hammer, how often they're gonna be bringing in the J hammers.
Yeah.
Honestly, I might just say fuck this weapon and Blackstar and just Caphras weapons.
Yeah, that's an option. If you care more about PvP, that's the cheapest option. All right. So Elvia's realm. Yeah.
I was gonna say the thing is in this game, unless you're a life skiller, you kind of have to care about PVE because it's the only way to make fucking money.
No, dude, RBF's like 10 mil.
And unfortunately, also in that video, I don't know if you guys caught this, also in that video when they talked about Arena Solaire, does not sound like we are getting per match rewards to me.
Nope, it does not. It does not sound like that.
You are not going to make money doing Arena Solaire. Very fun. Definitely what we need. More PvP that doesn't reward you.
That's really unfortunate.
It is kind of unfortunate. I don't know what they said. They said they were considering a daily. Let's talk about that after because I want to
Black Daily Online.
I want to do a whole
sad.
section on that. But let's finish through the Elvia loot stuff real quick. We kind of knew that they would add cups for the earring.
Yep.
And they did add a single cup, an AP cup, which is kind of surprising to me that they didn't also do an alternative option like they did with the other one. So they added you can get this yellow cup. It requires some of the existing mats and some stuff from the new, I imagine from the new spot. I don't know. I don't actually know what the translation is. I haven't looked at it. But it gives you 3 AP. Earring cup that gives you 3 hidden AP. So if you have 2 of those, you get 6 additional AP.
Yeah, hidden.
Yeah.
Because you guys in our
Oh,
group
it's
chat
all
were like,
existing mats. Okay.
you guys in our group chat were like, oh yeah, the DP, which we'll talk about in a second, is a sheet. And then you're like, yeah, and you get 3 AP per earring. And I was like, wait, is that also sheet? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I was terrified for a second. I was like, you're telling me these super geared motherfuckers are about to get 6 sheet AP for nothing?
Yeah, pretty much. They're also increasing the cups market price cap to 2 bill for all the cups, which is pretty cool because their demand is about to go way up. All right, so then they also added another cup, Sinking Soul Fragment. I don't know if they're calling this one a cup. Actually, I don't know if
Probably.
yeah. But Sinking Soul Fragment, which you can throw into an Alchemy Stone. The list of Alchemy Stones are Destruction Guardian of yellow grade or higher, sharp grade or higher, and Vel's Heart, Khan's Heart. And what this upgrade does is it gives you 2 sheet DP, 2 damage reduction, 1% monster damage reduction, and all resists plus 2%. I'm not happy about the resist part, but everything else is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Couple more DR
More
and stuff.
resist is kind of irritating, but
And the 2 sheet DP is pretty huge. So my build before I swapped to Evasion, I would have had to get a Tet Fallen God to hit 401, and now I wouldn't have had to. I could hit 401 without a Tet Fallen God and just 2 Tri-Fallen Gods. So there's that. Any thoughts on the cups?
I wish there was some more variety, but other than that,
I think the cups are ultimately fine. I mean, we expected they would come up with them eventually, right? So
yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully they add a blue cup down the road that just gives DR or something for the earring.
yeah, I'm actually like the Vel cup kind of surprised me. I didn't anticipate them doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I expected that to be like a defensive cup for earrings.
Does this mean we'll absolutely never get the Khan Heart upgrade thing into Vel's Heart? You guys remember that?
Right. Yeah.
I guess that's forever gone.
Yeah, what happened with that thing?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it was a garbage system, so like, I guess maybe they thought it's no good, but because
yeah.
that was the one where it was completely RNG on which one you
Yeah.
would get, right?
Yeah, you could literally get, not only were the secondary stats, which was like down attack damage 2% and blah, 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 not only were those RNG, but also the sheet DP or the sheet AP was RNG. So you could suicide a Khan's Heart and end up getting 0 sheet AP. Or you could get RNG carried, suicide a Khan's Heart and get 3 AP on your Vel's Heart.
Yeah, because also you couldn't like redo it. It was like once it's done, that's just what it is now, right?
I can't remember. I actually think you were able to redo it multiple times, but then,
Oh, really? You
but then
were?
you'd have to sit there and keep getting Khan's Hearts, and I don't know if you remember that content, but that is something I never want to do in my life.
That is enthralling content, Frosty. I don't know what you're talking about.
They've since added more ways to get Khan's Heart, but yeah, Khan's Heart is outside of life skilling. It's kind of weird. Do life skillers even still use Khan's Heart? I'm out of the loop on life skill stuff. Oh god. Someone said content. KHAN.
Content, yeah.
They added an item. This is similar to Jade's Forest, the upgrade to Spirit Perfume, but they added an item to upgrade Frenzy Drafts so you can get 5 more monster AP on your Frenzy Drafts.
Neat.
Mm-hmm. And then that's kind of it. They haven't showed the trash loot or the money. There's no, the item drop table on Global Labs isn't changed. When I went and actually killed mobs, they still don't have values on the items. It's still just 100 silver. So not sure how much money these places
No, that
be.
is updated. It's just 100
it's
silver.
just 100 silver? Hell yeah. You're there just
they
for the
didn't want to
cups.
repeat Serendia Elvia, so all the trash is worth just 100 silver this time.
Yeah. And it only drops black stones and then these materials, and that's it.
Yep, exactly.
I did... No, never mind. Yeah, I'm excited for these 5 spots. Hopefully the money is right around the same as the spots that we already have, and then maybe the 2 high-end spots could be, you know, similar to what Gaifin Underground is. Because again, like I said earlier, I like the variety. I like going over to any grind spot I want, not feeling like, man, I'm making 300 mil less than whatever at the spot, and I hate this spot. Like, I don't know why. I don't like orcs. I've like not liked orcs since the beginning of orcs. I just don't have that much fun there. I think it's a combination of the filters, that awful green puke filter, and also I don't even know what else it is. I can't even. Oh, the mobs don't group up. There's something satisfied about mobs being all stacked on top of each other and then you deleting them.
Right.
It's just like, it always feels like you're killing 1 mob at a time or 2 mobs at a time there. That's just not satisfying to me. Alright, so they added Lyanna's gathering tool bag. This is actually incredibly cool. All of your gathering tools go in this bag, and you just equip the bag into that life skill slot. And they made a nice little neat UI for when you go gather, since, you know, there's sapping and
Dude,
tanning.
when
and,
I was watching that video and he said, "Oh, so which one prioritizes?" Well, we were thinking about systems, and one system we thought was like, "Oh, what would be at the top of your bag?" And literally out loud, I was like, "Oh, that sounds fucking awful." And then they were
Yeah.
like, "And we decided this was inconvenient." I was like, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah, so now it's just a wheel. You can scroll with your mouse wheel or press like F5, or there's some F key that lets you swap between it.
F5.
And
It was
yeah,
F5, yeah.
and it'll just
Or you
stay
can
on
just
that
mouse
option.
scroll wheel.
Yeah, and it'll just stay on that option until you want to change it. So every time you gather, it'll just do that version of gathering.
Which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't life skill, but that seems like a huge QOL thing for life skillers.
Yeah.
And they also said that originally they were like thinking about, they essentially admitted that they were going to make it like pay for convenience, I think, because they were like, we thought about making you pay to like upgrade it or something, but we decided not to do that. We just made it a quest reward.
Yep. They also changed the UI for acquiring the tent buffs, the shop ones.
Which is really nice.
Yeah, it looks really cool. It's
It
fancy.
definitely looks a lot more clear than what we have now, for sure.
Yeah, scrolling through that nasty list.
Yeah. I mean, not that what we have now is complicated, but this just, it looks a lot cleaner having it like grouped together like this.
Yeah. The tent, yeah. Yeah, it's cool. This is a cool change. I think that was it for the major stuff here. And then the other stuff was in the...
Whoa.
Yeah.
We didn't bring up the... You didn't bring up the King's Key quest.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the King's Key quest.
yeah.
So...
Hey, that's major content.
Yeah, the King's Key, for those who don't know, when you finish the... I think it was the Awakening questline, right? Pretty sure?
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, when you finish the Awakening questline, you get this quest item that's a key that
On
everyone
Nova.
was like, oh, man. 'Cause you know what was funny? One of the theories at the time was that it's probably going to unlock more abilities because her kit felt so small.
Yeah. yeah.
It's going to be a questline to get her new Awakened skill. It's like, yeah, nope. Anyway, so they finally added a questline to this key. Once you finish it, you get furniture. I wish I could make that sound more exciting, but that is...
Rejoice, Nova mains. You don't get skills, you get furniture.
Yeah.
They got an iframe. They're fine.
They did get an iframe. So I wanted to show you guys this. That I'm going to go back to last week because we missed last week's podcast. But I wanted to show you guys this chart, by the way, which was sweet vindication for me. So they made a few UI changes in last week's Global Labs, and one of them is this chart where you'll be able to see the attack, cast, move, crit rate stats that you actually get for each level.
Right.
And it was sweet vindication for me just because everyone says the critical hit rate at level 5 was 20%. And I was like, yeah, but the data mines that Blue had years ago said it stops at 18%. And everyone just thought that was stupid. And I was like, I mean, it is weird, but that's what the data mine said, you know?
It's 18% for crit?
Yeah, so crit is 18% when it's level 5. So it goes 5%, 9%, 12%, 15, and 18. Move.
That's weird. I always thought it was 20.
Yeah, a lot of people did. Attack speed is 20%, which is fucking huge, by the way.
Yeah.
It's actually fucking so crazy. Movement speed also 20%. The fishing time decrease is 50% at level 5. Gathering time decrease by 75. And luck is 12.5% drop rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's interesting. I didn't know that it was only 18%. Good to know. Because I mean, ultimately, you could be planning your build around that. If you're 2% crit off, I mean, ultimately, that's not a lot at all. But
you know what's interesting though? So you know the spirit perfumes, like a lot of people grind with frenzy, which doesn't give 5 crit. So people use spirit perfumes, and spirit perfume with the upgrade from Jade makes it so it has 5 more AP, which is nice. But essentially the spirit perfume is giving you 9% crit rate, because I think if you don't have any crit rate buffs or anything, just with your normal plain items, at least the way I run around, unless you use often or a glove crystal or something, I believe you only have level 2 crit. So it's kind of interesting to think if
from Zarka or in Blackstar.
Yeah, if you're running Zarka or Blackstar.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, so those stats are there. The other change is this one, which they don't show. Here, let me delete these, clear up this for you guys. But they don't show a GIF of it, but I went and tested it. It was pointed out to me that night of the Global Labs when it came out last week. So this option lets you hide your name in game, but leave your health bar above your head, even with your name hidden. The little health bar, which is really, really fucking cool.
Yeah.
So now, whether you're an RBF, outside of RBF, whatever you're doing, you can hide your nameplate if you don't want to see your nameplate, but still have your little mini health and mana bar above your head. Which is really cool, because a lot of people play with their nameplate hidden, and then you go into RBF and you have to swap it to that option that lets you see your points or your kills, and now you don't ever have to do that.
Or a lot of people, I think myself included, would like to play with the nameplate off, but I use the health and mana bar above my character more so than I do the one at the bottom of my screen. I'm using the old UI, not the new one. I use that information more so than I do the actual health and mana bar, so I don't like that specifically being hidden. So yeah, I'd like to get rid of my nameplate so that I don't have a bunch of clutter in the middle of my screen, but you know, kind of need it there.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Was there anything major? Last week they closed out the balance changes. There were a few significant ones. Were we here? Did we talk about the Sage ones on the podcast?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, hold on. Didn't they get 2 weeks of changes? I don't remember.
Well, they got the Succession ones in the very first week, I think, or the second week, where Rift Chain. I can't remember if we talked about the Awaken changes or not on the podcast.
Yes, we did. We
Okay.
did. With the returning back to position on
Right.
Shift E, I believe, and the going into Rift Chain when Bolt is on cooldown and not overcharged.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it. Yeah, and they got dude the Sork nerfs. Nayashi, do you remember what the Sork nerf was on Global Labs?
Naji?
He must be AFK. But the Sork nerfs ended up being now Shadow Leap does not. When it came to KR, so this was not a note that came to Global Labs ever, but when it went straight to KR, they ended up changing the Shadow Leap stamina requirement down to 0. It locks your stamina now, but does not cost stamina to use Shadow Leap.
Interesting.
It does cost more mana, though. She got grabbed again. Dude, that was so funny. Just super loud. He's like, "How did that go behind my frontal guard?"
Yeah. BRB, he says. So
they affirmed another nerf.
Not to go back to previous thing that we kind of touched on, but we did say we would come back to it later once we were done with Global Lab stuff. The video, the dev commentary.
Yeah, Solar.
Yeah, so there was a couple interesting things that they talked about in there that I noticed that they didn't really expand on. They just kind of like said and then like left. So the biggest one was Arena Solaire. So they showcased what appears to be a third map in the video. Which appears to be the what's the word I'm looking for? Lightly forested area outside of Arahaza, I guess you could call it, because like it is a forest kind of, but it's also still like very deserty.
Is that where it is?
I believe that is what that area is. I'm pretty confident. Am I wrong about that?
I don't know. I actually don't know. I would say it looks like it because the trees. I just can't remember because I never go there. How much grass is actually there? It seems like there's a lot of grass, but yeah, maybe
there's quite a bit. There's actually quite a bit. It's not like green like grass, but
okay. Yeah, a lot of people are saying it's Arihaza Forest.
Yeah. So which is neat. It seems very open. With kind of like a path directly connecting the two teams, so you can run like straight down the path, it looks like, or you can kind of go off to the sides where the trees and rocks are and things of that nature. So that's kind of an interesting third map. There doesn't appear to be any mechanics of any kind, at least none that they showed in the small snippet that they included in that video from what I remember. So perhaps this is a map more akin to Olin's Valley, where it's just raw fucking PvP. There's no bullshit to worry about. It's just you versus them, who wins, basically.
One thing that's new, unless I just didn't notice it before, though, did you notice the bars at the top?
I did not notice what were the? I did not notice that.
Okay, so look at the bars at the top. Show Team Red and Team Blue both with 100%, and as you see people's health go down, it shows the total. Yeah, so it's like the total HP pool of each team.
That's neat.
That actually is really cool. I assume that'd be added to the current versions of the maps as well.
Probably. I wonder. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so if it ends on the time.
Am I weird for kind of wishing that they would separate that into just like 3 health bars each taking 33%? That would
that is weird. Wait, hold on. But that's what your health bars on the side are, because your health bars are still on the side, each individual person.
Yeah, I guess.
If it was like 33% is like super redundant. Yeah, because I didn't send you the whole screenshot, but it's kind of blurry. I apologize for that. But it still has the normal health bars on the side. It's kind of the normal health bars on the side. So I feel like that would be having... Yeah, no, that'd be weird, I think.
Fair enough. But, Yeah, the disappointing thing that they said. Well, okay, let's talk about the cool stuff first. So they said that they want to give end of season rewards. So
Yep.
they're gonna have a season system, and they're gonna give out rewards at the end of the season. And they
Mhm.
showcased a outfit that they want to give for end of season rewards. Now they
Mhm.
specifically said, if I remember correctly, that they are not giving it for the preseason, which is the season that's going to start on June 8th. God knows if we're going to get it or not.
Yeah, and this is one.
Um,
I think they said this one would be bought with the honor, if there's a potential honor system, right?
Perhaps, yeah.
The
So
outfit is awesome, by the way, except for the horse.
yes,
I don't know why the top has to be a horse.
yeah, I don't know why the top has to be a horse, but I like the idea of exclusive PvP cosmetics. I think that's a thing that people have been asking for quite some time. Um,
It,
so I think that's pretty neat.
look at it zoomed in. It's like his head is giving birth to a full-grown horse.
I mean, that's the T10 right there, bro.
It reminds me of that Ace Ventura when Jim Carrey's coming out of the rhinoceros, the robotic rhinoceros.
Oh my god.
But the outfit itself looks so cool, so I guess you just put on a different helmet. If you
Well,
don't
I
like
hate
this
to break
helmet.
it to you, but that outfit on females is going to feature a boob window and a skirt. So
Yeah.
hate to break it to you. So yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. The cosmetic rewards are something that I think people have been asking for a long time. Like, hey, if you're not gonna give us money, at least give us like some cosmetic rewards for PvPing. So that's nice. Um,
Hmm.
the unfortunate thing is that whole not making money thing. Yeah, that seems like it's gonna continue.
Yeah. I do hope at least. Okay, so I don't know what the honor store is going to be, but they said they're considering doing a store with honor points. They said they're considering doing a end of season reward and then dailies. Right? So those
I
three
hope
bases
it's
are
not
covered.
dailies.
I don't mind a daily where if you go in once a day. The reason why I don't mind the daily is because even it encourages some people to play at least once, so you have more people at least in there to queue up with.
Sure,
But-
I don't mind one daily. I don't want dailies plural, and I also don't want a RBF daily where based completely off of RNG. Essentially, it could take either 15 minutes or an hour.
Yeah, the RNG daily. But here's the thing, it depends on honestly on the honor shop. But let's say I don't even know. It's like it sucks. A hypothetical in my head is I have to build out the reward system for all of these systems before I can even throw out a hypothetical. But let's just say that the pearl outfit or the outfit at the end is awesome, right? Let's say whatever, it's really cool and people see it and they're like, dude, I want to work for that. You get some same vibe like the Arsha weapons, right? And then let's say there's a costumes that you can get from the honor system, and then the daily reward is similar to the RBF one. I don't know, maybe you get 100 dust every day. You know, it'd be a sick daily is if you got 100 dust and 50 cron stones.
Yeah,
That'd be a pretty
absolutely
badass daily. But separate from that, if it did that, if it had all three of those systems, like an honor system with a shop where you could buy cosmetics, a top like high-end lab, depending on your ranking, get a costume at the end, and a daily where you get some dust and crons. If they did all those and then also made it so you just get the normal RBF rewards, are you tilted? If they have all those systems, or do you think it needs to be all those plus a couple hundred mil an hour?
Yeah. If that totals up to a couple hundred mil an hour, then that's fine. If you give us a couple hundred mil an hour in items, then I'm fine with that. In fact, I think that would be preferable to raw silver because again, I think that we kind of have an issue with raw silver in the game right now. So I'm okay with that, but I don't think it's going to.
I don't think so either. Actually, my fear, I don't even think, based on what they say, I don't even think we're going to get the RBF reward, is my fear. I don't even think we're going to get 10 mil for a win. I can't tell, but I don't know.
I thought they said those initial rewards were for preseason only, and that they're still evaluating stuff though.
Well, they did.
they
They
are
said the reward.
still-
Yeah, they are still evaluating. They don't know for sure. They said that. Well, one of the things they said is not happening in preseason, which I think is this costume. You're not going to get a reward for the preseason.
Yeah. Update. Thornwood, yellow loot scroll, and 50 mil 10 buff. 750 million silver.
Did you actually? Would you get a ring?
I got a ring, and if you're wondering about the Caphras, I got 57 Caphras and 47 dust.
Damn. And that was on a Guardian? You're on your Guardian?
Yeah, Suck Guardian, 281 Kudum. I got almost 8,000 trash. So.
Were you doing the top rotation, or were you down in the forest?
No. I do the bottom area. It's my comfort food essentially.
Mm-hmm. How many leaves did you get? You know, someone's asking how many leaves.
2. I got 2 leaves.
You got 2 helmet leaves?
Yeah.
Did you get any Spectre's energy?
No specters. No specters. 2 fangs for the record, if you were wondering about that as well.
Wait, only 2 fangs? That's actually crazy.
Only 2 fangs. My fang RNG was not on point, unfortunately. I got 3 light stones as well, if you're wondering about that. 7 masses. So yeah,
Okay.
it would have been 200 something mil, but I got ominous ring drop, so that increased it by a decent amount. So, but I mean, 57 Caphras.
Yeah.
I mean,
yep, it's a lot.
not to mention, I did take the dailies up here, which I'm about to turn in. So that's an extra however many Caphras and dust. I forget exactly what the amounts are, but it's not bad.
So they mentioned during preseason that there's going to be a window, like a schedule where you can queue up.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts on that? And they said that's subject to change when it comes out of preseason.
I mean, I think it's fine for initial testing. They want to make sure that there's enough people joining in so that they can monitor.
Yeah. Because
I think it's
They
fine
need to
for
hash out a lot of
testing.
the. Yeah.
I think it's fine for testing, but whenever it's time to actually release the mode, I hope it's not like that. I know that you have defended it, saying like, well, that's the easiest way to guarantee that there are players going into matchmaking, and I understand that, but I would counter with, if you just make the rewards good enough and you make the content fun enough, you will always have people participating in it. I don't think this is a very complicated thing to do. They just don't want to do it for some reason.
Yeah, I agree. When it's live and out, but when you're testing things, I don't.
For the test,
disagree
it's
with
fine. For the test,
yeah.
I understand it.
Yeah.
yeah. Hopefully
Like, it's
not
bizarre
forever.
to me. It's bizarre to me that RBF has dead hours. Like, if you just especially with how fun Valencia RBF is. It's been months since Valencia RBF came out. I'm still enjoying it like a lot, hell of a lot more than I was Castle Ruins. But it's just I can't do it all day every day because it makes no fucking money.
Yeah. Well, the RBF one is actually, I don't hate Castle Runes. I just hated that the points feel so arbitrary and dumb. I wish it just showed KD. I wish it was just a straight up deathmatch. Anyway, I don't know, man. I'm like, I hope you get something for participating regularly. Like, so they mention honor, but then they just mention one singular costume. And I feel like if you're going to do honor where you're earning a material or a currency over time, that there needs to be like a whole shop that you can buy from with options in there.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Like
and I mean, maybe that's how they plan on doing rewards. Like, perhaps you can buy items to sell with honor points or something along those lines. Again, I kind of doubt it. I have a feeling it's going to be similar to like the Nodor shop, where it's going to be useful items, but things that you can't sell. So it's not things that you can make money with. It's going to be, you can get like drafts or other bullshit with it, which is useful but not money.
Yeah. Nash, any closing thoughts on this? This new map does look cool, by the way.
Yes.
Just visually, I like that area.
Yeah, I mean, beyond the map and whatnot, being a nice addition. Was there any mechanics on it? Do we know?
No,
Not that we can
none
see.
that we could see. None
Yeah.
that we could see.
It's a little weird that they're kind of like doing one with no mechanics, one with mechanics, another one with no mechanics. Like, so is there? I mean,
It is.
like it's fine. It's fine. I just wish they would like kind of pick a theme.
And they also didn't do
and stick
patch
to
notes,
it.
so we don't know what the differences are in the gimmicked one. If they made changes based on feedback or what.
True. Yeah, that's true.
So
We
it's
don't.
yeah, it would be nice to know
Um,
if something changed on it.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's without knowing what they're planning on doing with the rewards and whatnot. I mean, they kind of hinted towards them not really doing anything, but I hope they change that opinion.
They didn't. I mean, okay. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say or even imply that they said we're not giving out rewards for participating. The concern is they talked about what rewards they are considering, and
It's
giving
not what
money or
you.
items per match is not something that was mentioned. So
Yeah,
it's concerning. It's concerning. I'm not saying that they came out and announced like, "Hey, you're not gonna make money doing Arena of Solaire," but whenever they say like, "Yeah, we're considering end of season rewards, we're considering honor points, we're considering like cosmetic effects," and they don't mention like silver per hour in either a monetary value or in an item value, that is concerning.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm I'm trying to give them a little bit of fairness, because who knows, maybe they are considering it and they just didn't think it was worth mentioning in the video, but then I would question why they didn't think it was worth mentioning.
Yeah, I mean, they made sure to mention the outfit, which is a little weird.
And I hope to God, nothing else, I hope to God that the female version of that armor doesn't have a boob window and a skirt. It's time for females to get a full set of fucking armor, damn it.
It's gonna be a t-shirt and shorts.
it's
But it will be an
it's gonna
armored.
be a bikini.
It'll be an armored t-shirt and shorts. But a t-shirt and shorts nonetheless. Yeah, I want to see how actual based on the shading in this, it does look like maybe the arena is just a line. It's like a road with some trees and that's it. Maybe it's not even a circle.
Yeah, no, it literally looks like it is a path going to Arahaza that they just kind of like sectioned off essentially. So you can just run down the path at your opponent, or you can go off to the sides, use the terrain a little bit. Not necessarily terrain as in like elevation, because that area is really, really flat from what I remember. But like the trees and the rocks and stuff. I think they're fighting next to a pretty good sized boulder at one point. So yeah.
Yeah, that
I think
boulder
that's a pretty
looks
decent.
caster and ranger friendly, you know?
It does, but I also think that it's not such a huge boulder that
Right. It
if
looks
you're a
easy to
melee
get
person,
on top of.
yeah, if you're a melee person, you're gonna struggle to deal with a caster or a ranger up there. It's a good sized boulder.
So we'll
Pioneers
hunt it
used to
down.
ride those babies for miles.
Yeah. They did, by the way. I don't know if they made any changes this week, but compared to when we last tested, they slightly changed the gear. Like they made Bassi belt try, so it has more AP than the Orkinrad now. I was able to get all the way to 250 AP, but I don't know how much else is different. Looks about the same. I don't know if they've changed anything else, and we haven't gotten a feel what it's like after, because they haven't done another test.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get it on June 8th.
Yeah,
I hope it's not KR only, man.
Me too. I really do.
I really need them, by the way, to come out and say whether it's going to be KR only or not, because I don't want to take that day off if we're not getting that content.
Well, you could always just grind RBF that day if you take it off, you know?
Yeah, right. No, listen, Wednesdays are a busy day for us, so asking for a Wednesday off is kind of a big deal. I need to know. Yeah, it is. But the other thing I wanted to talk about in that video, not Arena of Solaire related, did you guys catch at the end of the video whenever he was saying like, you guys probably have some questions about other things, but we're still working on them, and we're not at a point in which we're ready to like announce them yet. And one of the things that he mentioned was actually node war changes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
apparently they are aware that the state of node wars is not super good right now, and they're looking at changing it, I guess, but they don't want to say how they're looking at changing it because they're not, I guess it's not far enough into development. They specifically said it doesn't have enough polish yet, which implies that they already have a fix or a change in mind, but that, I mean, I guess exactly what they said, it's not polished enough yet, which I don't know how that would work for a node war system, but unless you're overhauling the whole system, which I doubt, because we've only had this system for what, like a year and a half?
Yeah. Well, I was laughing. We were laughing on stream the other day when they had that Q&A that Jay was at. Do you remember from like a few weeks back? And one of the lines in there was, and we changed Node War. It was like in the last year we changed Node War to be more fun. And I was just like, did you? Did you though, Jay? Did you change Node War to be more fun? Are we sure about that?
Yeah.
We're always
I don't know.
iterating and listening to feedback. Like, for example, when we made Node War more fun for you guys.
Yeah, I don't know. They need to look at feedback a little bit more on that kind of stuff.
Is it like I do think that the system that they gave us for Node Wars is like interesting, but
the idea of it is cool. It's just the practicality and the execution and the limitations are bad. I don't know, like packs and loads made a million like good points, interesting points about the problems with it. Because I do love the idea of it, command or conquer and expand. It just
yeah.
It doesn't work when there's 6 guilds and they're all in their own region hiding.
Yeah, right. And they were like, no. Like, I remember us having this conversation specifically when they were talking about the system. It was like, no, you don't understand. So whenever a strong guild has 8 nodes, they're gonna have to stretch really thin to defend those 8 nodes. And it's like, yeah, unless they are only fighting one really weak ass guild, and then their entire strong guild can just crush the one weak guild.
The idea of that system, like, still, that sounds so cool to me, having to go, like, hey, guys, you need to go defend this fort on this territory. We're going to have this group of people defending this one. I have never experienced that once since that Node War system has come out. I don't think we've ever had one person attacking one of our forts and one attacking another. I don't think it's ever happened.
Or, like, the few times that it does happen where, like, you quote-unquote have to defend 2 nodes, you just let one of them die because it's the less interesting fight.
Exactly.
You just don't care.
Yeah,
You're
if
just like,
if it's not your home.
yeah. If it's not your home fort, you're just like, whatever. We'll just bring everybody to the more fun, better fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, I gotta do fucking Cogtum submission ring.
Hell yeah.
Congrats.
There goes my
Dude,
duo
that's
drop.
huge.
That's pretty
Never
big.
again.
How much silver is that worth? Like 30 mil?
It's about a whopping 19 mil.
19. Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Here goes my duo. Feels bad. Could have been a disto, you know.
It could have been a disto. Could have been a duo disto. I think we're done with our topics, right?
Yeah. You ready for comments? Oh yeah.
I'm good, but I did want to ask you guys something. So I've kind of been feeling this more and more recently, and apparently I'm not the only one because someone posted about it on Reddit as well. Are we fine with these rates on these fucking lightstones and getting these rare ones?
Drop rates?
No, it's annoying.
Yeah, like Strike,
Dude.
for example, being literally impossible to get your hands on. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. I probably have 50 lightstones in my lightstone inventory. God knows how many more I've opened that I've just like thrown on the market because I just can't be fucked. and I haven't gotten a single one that's worth more than 12 million silver. And the fact that I can't do a goddamn thing to increase my odds of getting something that's actually worthwhile and rare is so infuriating.
So Frosty knows this because I sent him this the moment I came back from my little break and tried out the system for the first time. I exchanged 3 shit ones and ended up getting the special attack damage one, which is 2 bill. That was pretty interesting. I've also gotten Steed before, which is the 400 mil horse training related one,
Nice,
and
nice. Huge.
I got uh, another 400 mil one from um the Earth set. I can't remember which one it was. So I've gotten a few rare ones, but honestly, I think the biggest problem with the light stones, like all the rarity and whatnot, is people are kind of probably doing what I'm doing. They're either A, selling all their ones and not fucking hoarding them, or they're hoarding them and not, opening them. Like
Just
I have,
keeping them as the imperfect versions.
yeah, because it's just so expensive to identify them.
It's 20 mil, and the process is fucking the worst
Tedious.
design
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, it's
It reminds me of the exchanging Layla's petals before they buffed it.
yeah.
Where you
It-
just
it
click,
really
click,
is
click,
like
click,
that.
click, click,
It's-
click, 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 click. It's so
yeah,
terrible.
it's they need to really optimize it. So I'm hoarding them for now because like people always say, like Zethian always says and whatnot, this game really benefits the hoarders because they always take quote unquote useless items or items that are not really worth much and then later do something with them to make them worth something. So I'm hoping they revamp the system in the future and make it either A, cheaper or easier. Hopefully cheaper and easier.
Yeah, hopefully
Because
both.
I mean it's not hard. It's just tedious as fuck. So
Yeah.
for the whole easier part, it's mostly
Well,
just
and
because it's tedious.
so
So
you
I think that's a big part of why there's not so many of those rarer ones like getting thrown up on the market.
Yeah, you spend 20 mil to change either your 18 mil, I believe the imperfect ones are 18 mil, I want to say, to change that into a 5 mil one that you have 5 million of and that aren't selling on the market. It's like, god damn it, man.
I literally just got 2 Eye of the Rune rings back to back. What the fuck?
Congrats. RNG carry did. Anyway, just wanted to bring that
No,
up.
I agree. The
If
rare
the
ones
interns
are
listening, please change that shit. God damn it.
yeah. If you need strike, disrupt, or mind,
You're
unless
fucked.
I mean even for the order, I've had since I swapped. When was that Calphus event? A month
2
ago?
months ago?
2 months ago, month and a half ago, whatever. I've been
Something like
sitting on this order since that Calphus event for the Lightstone
Yeah,
of the
same.
Mind.
I've gotten mind um off of the marketplace, but I have not gotten strike, and I've had the strike one longer. I think it's
Yeah.
been pretty much after the first week of getting used to the system. I've had an order since then, so
Why don't they
probably
make
since
it so
March.
you can do the 20 mil thing, or you can like life skill it, right? Isn't there a way to life skill it too? You can like fucking alchemy it or some shit. I don't remember.
Yeah, so if you
Wasn't
have
it
no, so
Guru?
what happens is when you have if you have alchemy or if you have alchemy guru 1, it basically turns them into the purified lightstones that you can either sell or open for RNG.
Right.
Yeah, which is
Why don't they
super valuable.
why don't they make it to where you can do it at any alchemy level, and the increased alchemy level you have increases your odds of getting a higher tier one. So if you have beginner alchemy, then you're very likely only to get the really low cost ones, 5 mil, 9 mil, things like that. But if you have like guru alchemy, you actually have a pretty decent odds of getting some that are worth like a lot of money, you know? That
Yeah.
way you
That
actually
would.
have go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's actually a good idea because that would actually really benefit alchemy. Because isn't alchemy like really, you know,
Yeah, but
pretty
it's
much
not
it's
really
pretty dog right now as far as an life skill.
yeah. But I don't think you're doing it like an alchemy table. It's just simple alchemy. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. The thing is with the alchemy system, a lot of people are complaining that you need 100 gem fragments. So you have to also get, like, you basically have to be a life skiller. You can get, so Lorenz was, I don't know how many on average most people get, but Lorenz went and was like test gathering and was able to get enough in an hour to open a couple. And if you're gathering, like, gathering is good money, but if you're shit at gathering, it's nothing. It's like, you're right. It's just a waste of time. Even that version.
Yeah. I mean, the Lightstone system itself is great. It's just this whole imperfect system is dog shit.
He's saying he can open about 10. He can do simple alchemy to get about 10 purified things per hour of an hour of gathering. So it's not that. I guess it's not that bad, but it's just another step, right? That you have to take. Yeah. So
it's another step, and also it's a lot easier, I would argue, to just drop 20 mil to just do it. If it doesn't give you better odds of getting something good, why would you go through the trouble? Unless, again, you're a life skiller who's doing it anyways, right? You're doing this. Yeah, if you're doing it anyway, anyways.
And now you're turning these existing valueless stones into around 20 mil, right? Depending on what they say, because those ones actually sell in the what is it called? Purified lightstones, like, actually kind of sell. I guess they've gone down a little bit in price. They're only 13 mil each. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to any of this crap. Oh no, I guess it depends on which one, because purified. Because that's the thing, is you get the purified version of that type.
Yes, correct.
Shit, you can't even buy these. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know. It's just the whole system is weird. It's really, really fucking hard to get the ones that you want.
Yes.
It is. It's just dumb. I also think it's pretty hard to get the artifacts that you want.
Yeah, yes. That too, yeah.
The whole thing is very hard. Very difficult.
The whole system really needs... I am surprised at how much I think that the artifact and lightstone system is good for the game. However, they need some serious QOL improvements for it. Mm-hmm. The QOL is awful for that whole system.
I mean, I think the recent quality of life system that they added for the artifact inventory essentially is actually
absolutely
nice.
That was a really good change, but they need to continue down this path because they have a very necessary and interesting system that was implemented very fucking awfully, and they realized this with the inventory management. Now they need to realize this with a lot of other things, I would argue, ranging from the way that your artifacts look in your inventory, the visual differences between them, to the way that you obtain artifacts and lightstones. I don't know. I think it needs a lot of changes. As with everything Prolibus does, is the epitome of this entire company. Fantastic idea, rather poor implementation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. Hopefully they take the feedback and consider it and do something with it.
Yeah, well, they said you could go to hell.
They said they don't listen to Maywas.
True.
I listen too much to Maywas.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, no,
they listen too much to Sorks.
They do listen too much to Sorks. Oh my god.
All right, there's a few comments you might have to delete. There's at least one.
Oh.
Something porn or other.
I see.
All right, I got the comments
pulled up. Ladies near you.
Let me use the restroom real quick while you do that. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, let me delete these real fast. For everybody listening, if this is somehow your first time listening to the show, we read comments every single week, the comments on the YouTube video. So if you want to go to the YouTube video, leave a comment. We read them, we reply to them. as long as basically they're not some sort of
Excessive.
harassment or insult or something along those lines. Even some of those we read sometimes, but
True.
most of the time we don't.
Yeah, just
So as
keep
long as
them more on the shorter side. Paragraphs are not ideal.
yeah, and if you're gonna write a paragraph, include a TLDR, please. That was a real problem. We were doing so good with TLDRs for the longest time. Everybody who likes writing up essays for their comments was writing TLDRs for us that we could just kind of quickly get the gist of them. And then I don't know what happened. Everyone just collectively decided we don't need to do TLDRs anymore.
Yeah.
But
Oh
we
my
do read
god.
them every episode, so.
I got another Marnie box.
Hey, dude, you're RNG carried over there. What the fuck?
It's the drop rate event.
Must be
I don't want
nice.
another one of these. I don't want to grind another 50,000 of these.
Are
I
you
already
on-
have one.
Are you on Arsha?
Yeah.
Shira Arsha?
Someone go get behind his frontal guard.
No. Blood Wolves.
Blood Wolves. Blood Wolves Arsha, everybody. Go get behind she's frontal guard.
Yep.
not
Houdini that shit. Just get back there,
It's not hard.
but look like you're right in the front, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
Frosty, do
Frosty,
you want to
by
read
the way,
comments?
Sure. No, you do them.
Me do them? Okay. Give me a second. Finish this rotation. What are you gonna say, Nashi?
it's all right. Don't worry about
Some Maywa thing. Don't worry
it.
about
Basically, Maywa complaints.
it. How did I know?
Frosty said earlier it's not hard to fight a Drake. But it's
Well,
funny because
it's
every
hilarious
single
if you're
Maywa,
dying to a Drake and just letting yourself get hit by it is really
except
more my
every
point.
single Maywa I talk to
Can't
with
see
far
when they
more
use
gear
shift
than
R&B.
me. They
That's
all
crazy.
say it's just a losing matchup. Weird.
That is weird. Imagine sitting there and getting hit by something that slow.
Draconia has quite a bit of forward guards, don't they?
No, it's typically only like one that
couple.
they really utilize.
They use forward R&B because they need their ion. So if you're in fight with it outside of their E buff and shift Q, yeah, they use forward R&B a lot to gain ions mid fight. Otherwise, the shift R&B, or LMB doesn't hit hard. And no, it's not that it's an easy matchup. I'm just saying it's easy to avoid shift R&B.
Oh yeah, that one is not hard to avoid, but
Yeah.
everything else hits like a fucking truck too.
None of it hits like that. I mean, I get it. If you don't have gear, that's fine. Whatever. If you get hit by some 700 gear score Draconia, it's I'm not saying it's going to be a walk in the park.
Good
I'm just
time.
saying, it's like if you end up in a 1v1 with them, it should be them chasing you around forever. Check Discord has me on payroll. I don't even like my thing with Jack is. That's the other thing we forgot to talk about is the heal nerf. Although I haven't seen exactly how much health it's healing, but they changed the way its healing works.
Oh really? I didn't even see that.
Yeah. Oh, that's why it didn't come to Global Labs. It went straight to KR, I think.
Oh,
What?
interesting.
That's
yeah.
weird.
Hold on. Let me see. I think I'm remembering that correctly.
That's why I didn't hear anything about it then.
Yeah. So. They had some blue text for it too. Unless this is all a dream, you know, it's certainly possible. Scrolling down. Okay, so they said when Draconia's Marthanon skill and Marthanon's heart skill were combined, it was possible to collapse the opponent's formation while holding out against a large number of enemies. So that's the passive with Shift Q, the PA skill. So there was an excess in both attack and defense. In order to balance the damage and survivability while maintaining Drax's high power, we've adjusted the recovery effect of Marthanon's heart skill applied while using Marthanon's scale. And then they give kind of an example. So it says when using and again, this is translation from KR. So this is Google doing its best, just as a heads up.
Yeah. Google Translate. Translate, everyone.
When using Mark-Thanon's scale, the HP recovery effect applied by Mark-Thanon's heart skills changes as follows. The existing version is when the skill is maintained, 5% max health is recovered each time, and health is restored so that 70% of the maximum health is maintained. And essentially, you recover 5% health over and over again until you're at 70%. And it's slowly recovers until the player is placed on the ground, then recovers quickly. So I think the health, it like slowly recovered, and then once your sword touches the ground, your HP just shoots up, which is what everyone sees, I think. And then the change says recovers 5% maximum HP 14 times while maintaining the skill. So recovers quickly before putting the Slayer on the ground and recovers slowly thereafter. So I haven't actually seen the difference side by side. But
we can burst them during the skill is essentially what I'm hearing.
I think it just recovers more slowly or something. I don't know. I'd have to see it side by side, but they made a change to that. I'm just not sure how impactful it's going to be because I need to see it. It says, accordingly, the maintenance time Mark-Thanon skill has been reduced and the recovery time has been reduced accordingly. But it's supposed to be an overall nerf. I just don't know by how it looks. I have no idea.
Yeah, I would have to see. Maybe I can see if some of my KR contacts can get a clip. I'm sure there's some clips over in the KR forums about it.
We'll know Wednesday for sure, because I think it's just coming straight to our server from here.
Well, yeah. Maybe I'll just wait. Not bother.
So, reducing the healing on Jack, that's probably good, honestly.
It's probably the best course of action.
Their healing is a bit excessive.
Yep.
I mean, they're pretty tanky. They're not as tanky as like a Sucknova or a Guardian, just like outright, but they're pretty tanky. The healing is what really pushes them over the top, and is just kind of like insane.
You just have too much of it, and while also being able to do it with some of their skills in combat.
Yeah,
makes it pretty rough. Oh, I got another Eye of the Rune Ring.
Plus, it drains your mana. You know.
Yeah, mana drain is that part is annoying, but not really too big a deal.
Now you have to stand that ground, huh? Because that argument. That shit's devastating. Don't lie.
Well, I mean, it's slow, so it's like not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not a big deal because it's not instantaneous. Like, I don't know, blooming.
But you know, if it happens instantaneous, you immediately get a pot. You know, so it's
Unless your fairy autopotted just happened to right before then, and then you just have to sit there hoping that the Meiwa doesn't notice that you have no mana for the next 4 seconds.
I mean, it's pretty obvious if you're not moving, you know?
Alright. Let's get to the comments.
Alright, comments. Dragon Lux Art says, delete Zerker and Guardian.
Agreed.
Game would probably be a lot better if they did. I like Greed's reply saying, I think they should delete every class but Ranger so that the range damage becomes balanced. It's one way of doing it, I guess. Greed says, I think the reason Tamer's in the state it is because PA wants Tamer to replace Shy as life skill / RP class, a class which makes sense with PA revenue. They make most money off of the player base. Tamer has no player base.
Yeah, I think that's all sarcastic, but I can't tell. If
that's
it's not,
a good tinfoil.
Yeah, if it's not, I don't buy any of it.
That's good tinfoil. Dreadspark replied saying, Shy's respect and support the Tamer who remains the sole people to tame the powerful and wild animal class. Shy see this current struggles as an opportunity to forge a lasting alliance alongside the Tamers and their Zerker pets.
Oh my god.
As long as the need remains, Shies will bongo the nerfs and buff the buffs in the Tamer struggle. PA let them ride upon their hailings, bring fury and pain upon those who would look down upon them and their allies. Dream Donkey 2 would be nice, but I was told not to derail. So, good reply from Shies. Tristan Crow says, no Tamer changes, SMH. Matthew says, you know what, just this once, I'm not going to bitch at PA. I'll do this next episode. For the quality changes we got, grinding zone changes on Kama, that will come soon, and pet rework, just gonna say one thing, good job PA, keep it up.
I'm curious about the hate in the following episode.
Yeah. JL says, this was one of the most enlightening podcasts I've watched. Had no idea how hard it was to get a fight, parentheses siege / node wars, let alone a good fight. I also wasn't aware how scripted and planned everything is. How boring. I have a much better understanding of how this works and am in 100% agreement. PA needs to make adjustments to this system ASAP. Apparently they're working on something. They don't want
Something.
to tell us what, but
They're adding dragons and
They
Baron
said
doing-
it's
buff.
so much more fun though.
doing something.
Uh,
Draga3888. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I was told to tell you to refresh because there's a newer comment by the time you get to the end.
Okay, refresh.
All right, what's Draga
Yeah,
say?
Okay. Let me go back to new, go down. Where was I? Draga3888 says, so I'm selfish for wanting to use my gear in content. I don't mind if there is a capped version of the content, but why is the arena only capped? I spent about 2 years to get to the average gear score of 672 on console, and now that the content is capped, I have no reason to play the game. Grinding is pointless if I can't use the gear I am grinding to buy. Yes, I understand new players need content as well, but when I started, everything was uncapped and I got trashed on, which motivated me to get better gear. Then boom, the only use for it is to grind for 0 value, but maybe that's just me.
I'm not sure. Does he think that all the node wars and all the sieges and open world is all capped? Too?
I'm not sure. So someone else, Ryan Mills, replied to him saying there is uncapped siege.
Uncapped siege, uncapped
says-
node war, uncapped open world, uncapped RBF.
Yeah, he says open world PvP, RBF, Node War, all that have uncapped gear. To which Drago replies, yeah, but large scale sucks. Open world is just griefing. I want to have ranked small scale. Then when we get it, it's capped. And siege is a joke. We just had castle back and forth. No real fights.
Someone just pinged me, and that's so funny that someone even noticed this happen. But someone just said in chat, "How the fuck are you replying to Reddit comments while doing the podcast? What the fuck?"
Wait, what?
My arguments with people have continued on Reddit throughout this whole podcast.
Oh, I see. So it seems like Draga is upset mostly that Arena of Solaire is gear capped. That he's not
Yeah, I
gonna be able
think
to
he's upset
use
about that.
gear in Arena of Solaire. To which I would say, like, yes, I agree, and I think we all agree that if we have the players to support it, that there should be 2 game modes, one where you can go in with your gear and one that is gear capped. But if we're only gonna have 1 queue, it has to be gear capped. It just
Yep.
has to be. If there's only going to be 1 queue, it has to be gear capped, because if it is real gear only, you're going to have way less players participating. You have way more players participating if you make it gear capped.
Can I-
Guaranteed.
Can I be condescending real quick?
Good.
Draga, just like you said how when you started playing the game, the content was uncapped. When you started playing the game, you also didn't have Arena of Solaire, so you shouldn't really worry about it.
Yeah, also he says so that I got trashed on, which motivated me to get better gear. That's great for you. That's not the case with everyone else.
Well, those people can still trash on you too in open world. Like that part isn't different.
Yeah, but also like there are some people that get trashed on, and if they were to get trashed on in Arena of Solaire, that wouldn't make them go, I need more gear. That would just make them go, oh, I'm just not going to participate in Arena of Solaire then. Like, not everyone has the same reaction to I don't know, getting trashed on, I guess. And for the record, I'm in agreement. I also feel very motivated whenever I get dogged on. That's when I feel the most motivation to actually do things. But not everyone is like that. So
Here's a way to
Important
look
to
at
keep-
it. This is a bit of a stretch, Draga, but look at it this way. If it wasn't capped, then all of the people that would instantly get farmed by high gear eventually would stop playing it, and you'd be playing against a bunch of people with around your gear anyway. So it'd be like it's capped. Huh?
or higher.
Or higher.
You'd be fighting a team of Choice and Divios and whoever else is just mega geared ape brains. Yeah. Storm619 says, having multiple caps, level, and node war is great for the game in almost every aspect, in my opinion, mainly to give new/existing players a reason to grind/progress in their gear. Using Siege as an example, with current caps, most likely T1 guilds are going to drop on Calpheon than they are on Valencia because they have a better chance to kill the 700 gear score player. Yeah, true, 700 gear score player are just going to put on special gear to give an advantage, but it's still better than fighting their real gear. In Destiny, there is a hard cap in their gear. Players still grind the game to get the best min-max stat or weapon perks to give them an advantage. Why can't BDO do the same? Just have tier caps and have 1 to 2 region uncapped, have the game as a whole do a lot better. It is to my understanding that it is hard to get a fight at the top level of play, so just cap it to get more guilds in the top level of play, like Goon versus a guild like Corrupt seems to be a good fight if it is on a capped node. PS also Frosty, those suck hash changes sound great.
He's gonna
Send a
tilt me.
ticket to the developers to make it happen, please. If you get everything you said, then just frontal guard on Purge would be nice.
Can someone please explain to me why? Why a fast-moving skill that's surrounded, starting with an iframe and ending with an iframe, that is a ranged float needs to have forward guard? I actually don't understand this. There are so many other things like Rupture where you're kind of locked in place, or other abilities where you could use the CC or protection. Purge is the weirdest fucking one to me. It's like the safest range poke of all time. Why is that the one that you want frontal guard on? I actually
want a
don't.
frontal guard on that.
Yeah, it doesn't make
It's
any fucking
fast,
sense.
too.
It would literally be like if Moosas and Mayoas were like, dude, can we please get forward guard on Stub Arrow? It's like, why? Why would you want forward guard on that ability? Of
Which
all
one?
the abilities.
That actually sounds like a pretty good idea, Frosty.
Yeah, I'm ignorant of hash skill names. Which button press is
Purge is Shift LMB. So when you do Shift LMB,
Okay,
it
gotcha.
throws out
Yeah,
the
yeah,
little
yeah.
wave, like 3 waves, and it's a pretty ranged float. And if you iframe or use Slicer before it, and then hold Shift LMB and hold Shift AD or in a direction, you'll iframe, throw it out instantly, and then iframe again.
Yeah, for sure. I do that to Karanda all the time. Yeah, so
Sure you do.
I can concur.
It's the same as having super armor on Shadow Eruption. Like, it actually makes 0 sense.
Yeah.
Like Rupture. Again, Rupture is always my good example. If you had to add a protection to one of the hash skills in succession, it would be Rupture makes the most sense because you're kind of locked in the animation. It's not super far range or super fast where it's not punishable. And it's not like it would be helpful for the class but not game breaking. And forward guard on Purge is just like that skill's already hard to punish. You get away with it all the time. Why would you want forward guard on that skill? It's just a very weird one. Anyway, the other stuff is interesting. I think people do agree with having different caps and gear sets for Node War.
Yes.
For the most part. It's just right now the caps are bad and the Node War formats are bad.
Yes. Drumming86 says, it feels like they missed the mark on Suck Zerk. Remove Weakling CC, keep SA, make first 3 hits stiffen on Fearsome Tyrant. Add 250 stamina cost to Tackling and Weakling Hunt. Wish they would change Awaken Zerker. I miss my arm cannon. Me too, buddy. Me too.
Wait. Awaken Zerker hits like a fucking truck, though.
Yeah. Titan Blow hits like a truck if you, well, not even if you have gear, just it hits like a truck, and then the rest of the kit is pretty high damage if you have gear. But it's, it's not in a good state right now. I think most Zerkers kind of agree. It's not in a very fun place. I feel like the main problem with it, if I could summarize my issues with it, is splitting up seismic damage among seismic scatter and ancient wave and split shot between them. I think it makes you stay in way too long, I think is my biggest issue with it on largely unprotected skills. 9 times out of 10 when I would try to dive in, which you're not encouraged to do because Titan Blow, you just get CC'd halfway through trying to get your damage out as quickly as you could, and then you just die. So you're just encouraged to just Titan Blow in Ancient Power from 5 million miles away, which is boring as fuck. So hopefully they fix it.
Yeah, also,
Rico-
you could say you miss Awakened Zerker Droming. You don't miss the arm cannon, because that's literally what it's best at right now, is arm cannoning.
Yeah. Well, I think he.
It's the only
you
thing
know
it
what he
does right
means.
now that's
You
insane.
know what he means.
All right?
You know what he means. You know what he means. Come on. Rico Cisco Entertainment says, "Yay! I'm at the beginning of the video on the left. LOL. Also, yay! New episode. Let's go." Steve Smith says, "PA not being AAA is not an excuse for poor console optimization on new generation systems. SE, Square Enix does a good job because they put the effort in to do so."
Yep. Over 35 years of console game development, they have done that.
Gear Grinder says, "Hopefully they can bring the gearing system for Solera into capped Node Wars. It will fix all the special attack modifiers that overgeared players can bring right now. As a new player, the struggle is real." Yeah, I hope they do that. I think that the what did we what did we call it when they very first talked about it, Frosty? The copycat of the Lost Ark.
It's the Tome of Synchronization.
The Tome of Synchronicity, or
Yeah, something like that.
I think that is a really good way to handle all capped content, in all honesty. I think if you're going to do capped content, that's the best way you could possibly do it, in all honesty.
I agree. I think it's pretty well done with at least in this iteration of it.
Yeah. And that's not to say it's perfect. Obviously, strikers, like I think mystics as well, although less so, are like insanely tanky while still being able to do a lot of damage. There's certain matchups that are
specific.
I know, but like that, it's just to say that it's not a perfect system, but I think it's a lot better than what we've been having with the weird, just arbitrary, let's just pick a fucking number out of a hat and say that's the cap.
Yeah.
Remy says, "Listen to these guys talk is vomit inducing." Oh boy. "They've created their own problems by stacking 100 cheater pilot accounts into their guilds and then wonder why no one respects them or wants to fight them. If their players truly wanted content, then they'd drop and join some random shitter guilds that place every night and they'd get tons of fights that, God forbid, they won't just face roll all the time. Screw these siege guilds and their entitled idiocy. They cry about being bored and fighting the same people all the time, but their behavior in wars and attacking smaller guilds promotes there being less faces and people to fight. They've created their own problem and are getting what they deserve. If you want content and are a real gamer, be like Goldstein and drop out of these boring auto-win scripted fight pussy guilds and find some real gamers to play with."
Okay. Look, now I'm gonna give credit to Goldstein for dropping out of Cho, because I think I've heard this through other people. I haven't heard it from him directly, that he dropped out because like just winning all the time isn't fun. But he also did join when they were just winning all the time and stayed in for months. But yeah, just pointing that out. But yeah, is that? I don't know if APOC and Digital are in that same category. Like the reason why I say that is because I'll just use Digital as an example. Digital was in low-end T2 and even back in T1s for a long time. Like it took them years to get as strong as they are right now. It's not like they just were snake level right when they were created. Like Digital has been around for a long time. And then on the APOC side, like Noto has been strong and weak multiple times throughout their career, completely left the game for a while. And then Clash, which is the other side of the Noto lines, also was like very small for a long time and then big and then small. I mean, neither of them, like Noto hasn't been an actual Siege guild since like old days of Siege. Remember, Rez, like even when we got into Siege, Noto was already out of Siege when we were in Hex. I remember because the Noto members merked into some guild and were killing Hikikomori, remember? On that Valencia node?
Yeah.
they had like 3 people as Stormtrooper when it was like a 10v100. Anyway, so I don't know. Yeah, definitely I think a lot of the player base creates the problem that they have, but it also is I think it's something that's difficult to balance because you also want your guild to win and grow, and otherwise it's really difficult.
Yeah, I think I understand where the frustration comes. Trust me, I really do. But I do think at the end of the day, it's important to remember that like these GMs are just trying to find content for their guildmates as well, right? And sometimes that sucks for us little guys, me being one of the little guys, but I don't think you don't need to like villainize them. I don't know. Like you can call them out and on their shit, and I think it's important to. I also personally believe that siege guilds, there not being a lot of siege guilds is almost entirely self-inflicted. I do believe that 100%. I've always believed that. Siege guilds drop on lower guilds, on guilds that are a lot weaker than them, and then farm the shit out of them, essentially like preventing them from getting really good fights. Those guilds eventually, like all the members leave to join like siege guilds or just quit the game or whatever. People get burnt out, yada yada. In large part because they keep getting farmed by these strong guilds. And then the siege guilds go, man, why are there no new siege guilds? It's literally the Eric Andre meme shooting fucking shooting Hannibal Buress in the chair and then going like, why are there no new siege guilds? But also a big part of that is the game. There's a lot of problems with the game. There would be a lot more guilds participating if Node Wars were more enjoyable, which would solve a lot of the problem. So I mean, yeah, you can put blame on the siege guilds, and a good part of it is their faults and their mentality. But also it's not as if they're Jeff Bezos like ruling the world. You know, I don't know. You don't need to
There's
villainize them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like you said, it's also partly the game's fault too. Like, there's a lot of players that
Absolutely.
refuse to do Siege because it's either extremely taxing on their PC's, performance, or um, yeah, maybe their class just doesn't work very well in that environment, so it's just not worth their time to do that when they can have far more fun in Node Wars, or a variety of other reasons. Maybe Saturday just isn't the fucking day for them. But it's the player base determines that. At the end of the day, what's fun and not. So, like Reslar, you said many times in the past, it's PA's job to make sure it's fun, that players want to do stuff. But
Absolutely. Fun and
yeah,
worthwhile. And for the record, I also put a lot of blame on weaker guilds. I If you allow yourself to be cannon fodder for these guilds that want to play Dynasty Warriors, you don't get to complain about it. I'm sorry you don't. I have forever had this stance for quite a long time now that I am not going to participate in a fucking node war against these fucking siege guilds. I refuse to do that because you're encouraging them to continue that fucking activity. Like I don't think that's a very hard concept to comprehend. They keep doing it because you keep letting them do it. I'm sorry. If Cho drops on my node, I'm not fucking showing. I'm just not. And I would encourage my guild to do the same. Unfortunately, people want to go, well, we can try to kill a couple of them, but all you're doing is encouraging them to keep dropping on guilds that have no chance of winning against them. And the cycle just continues. The best thing to do against these siege guilds, if you truly have a problem with them playing Dynasty Warriors on you, is just don't fucking show up. Which I think is happening more and more, and is honestly, I think, the proper way to handle it, in all honesty. Frosty,
I
you
mean,
probably disagree since you're in one of the guilds that gets ghosted a lot.
No, I mean, dude, if I'm running a guild, I'm not gonna sit there and let my guys get farmed. It's not fun. It makes people want to quit
Absolutely.
too. And when you're trying to build a guild, no, I'm in complete agreement. I don't think even loads or packs like fully disagree. Now they obviously would encourage like, well, if you have two guilds, you can kill us, right? Like Pack said that a couple weeks ago. But at the same time, what's the price? Right?
yeah,
It's not, if I'm going to get farmed, even if we kill you in an hour and 20 minutes and you guys are all 100 kills and 25 deaths, yeah, I'm also not showing up. It's a waste of time.
just the other day, so my guild, Bloodthirst, and I forget what the other guild was. Forgive me, I have a very poor memory. But Cho Nation dropped on our node. We were going to do a 1v1. Cho Nation dropped on our node. I personally said, no, thank you. I'm good. And what Cho Nation did was they offered the same exact thing that PAX did. Hey, if you let us play Dynasty Warriors on you for an hour, then we'll leave and then you can have fun. If I'm sorry if this is an unpopular opinion. If I am the guild leader, there's not a fucking person at that node war. You are not gonna play Dynasty Warriors on me and my members for an hour, absolutely making us fucking miserable, holding our 1v1 hostage over our fucking heads. No shot in hell. Go fuck yourselves. I
Yeah,
can't. I
that's a pretty fucked up. I wasn't
I
there for that
hate
week.
that.
Is that the?
Dude, you
I
know
don't
that
remember
that's
that in the
actually
conversation.
at the higher end that's happened as well. This was a while back, maybe a year ago now, but I remember we APOC had a 1v1 set up with Barcode on Medaya. This is before the node war changes, and Show Nation placed, and we did the 2v1, and at the end Barcode messaged us and said we're out. Like, that was an awful hour and a half or whatever it was, hour 15 minutes. Like, my members are tilted and frustrated. Like, we're just walking. You can have the node.
Yeah.
Like, it kills morale. Like, to just sit there and get farmed on a. And it's worse too that it's not like you're base trading and they're in your base, you're in theirs. They know that they can't really kill the two other guilds, so they just sit there and farm you on defense, which is even less fun.
Yeah. That's exactly what Cho did. And so I left. I went to their base one time, I got killed, I spawned town, I went and grinded an hour, and then I came back. I came back after the hour was up, Cho Nation left, and we had our 1v1. And guess what? It ended up being a stalemate because we didn't have enough time to actually fucking kill one another. If it had been a full 2-hour node war, then one of us would have fucking won most likely.
Yeah, that's the other
because
thing too.
it was getting pretty close. But because we only had essentially 50 minutes, because you have the hour, and then of course a bunch of Cho Nation members were fucking around afterwards,
Yep, that
still
always
trying to play
happens too.
Dynasty Warriors, and then we have to try to get it like a reset going on. We say like, okay, what's the time that we could start? Okay, like 10 minutes after, like blah blah blah. So you actually only have like 50 minutes to go kill this other fucking fort. It's just it's such a fucked thing that happens. And personally, I just refuse to participate. And if you do participate, that's your prerogative. Listen, it's your game. Play however you want. Just know that you're continuing the cycle by doing this.
I mean,
and it's weird.
maybe what needs to be done is they need to fucking change the requirements on these nodes. Like, right now, obviously they limit the amount of players that can show up, but maybe they need to limit it on the guild size instead, because ultimately, like, a bigger guild like Cho is going to have, like, obviously 99 to 100 members at all times, right? So if it's limited to, like, say, if it's a T2 node, it's like what, 30, 50 members that can join. Maybe it has to be that as far as their guild size. They have to be within that range.
It's never gonna
I don't
happen though.
There's a
It'll
million
never
problems
happen.
there's a million problems in Node War, and this is unfortunately just one of them. And honestly, this is pretty low on the priority poll as well. In all honesty, as much as it bothers me, I think that your number one priority should just be making Node Wars more fun and more rewarding, to try and get more players to participate, and trying to get more players to do content with together, right? This is your point, Frosty, that you bring up a million times. They said they were going to adjust the amount of nodes depending on the amount of guilds that were participating, and they
Yeah.
haven't.
They never did.
They haven't at all. And we still have nodes that are like really, really tiny that could easily combine with neighboring nodes to make a decent sized node that would also increase the amount of encounters that you have. But they just aren't doing it for some reason. And maybe that's what they're working on, that they don't want to talk about yet. Maybe they're working on redrawing the Node War map. But yeah,
But they made No War so much more fun now, remember?
yeah, it's so much more fun. Anyway, sorry. I'm very annoyed about that whole thing.
Yeah.
That being said, like I don't think you need to villainize these people, and especially if you're showing up to these fights. I'm sorry, if you're showing up to get fucking gamed on by these siege guilds, you don't then get to complain because you're just all you're doing is continuing the cycle.
You get to complain. You get to complain, but it's like
I don't think you
in
do.
a different way. Well, I mean, you could still complain about the system. The fact that they have to leave is
the
still
system,
not
yeah,
their
yeah.
fault.
No,
right?
no, no. I'm saying that if you become the NPCs for which Cho Nation gets to play Dynasty Warriors with, you don't then get to complain about Cho Nation playing Dynasty Warriors because you're allowing them to do it. It's completely in your control whether they're allowed to do that or not.
Right. I still.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just saying it's still. It's not their fault that situation even keeps popping up, though. I get what you're saying about encouraging it, but like for example, if I leave, let's say on Tuesday I place in my small guild, APOC shows up. All right, we leave. Then Wednesday I place and Digital shows up. All right, we leave. Then Thursday I place and Cho Nation shows up. All right, I leave, and now we didn't win a node. My guild didn't get to fight. Like, how long does that go on before my guild is like, yeah, sorry, I want to go to a guild that actually has fights?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair concern.
Like, that part of it is what is annoying, that it's the fact that you guys have to leave is sad, because Node War is scheduled every day and it's hard to get everyone to show up. And yeah, I don't know. It would be nice if they made some changes.
But I don't think fighting those guilds is a fight.
No, definitely not.
Like,
you should leave. Do not give them the benefit of farming you in their base for an hour. I agree with you completely.
Yeah, I don't know. The Node War system, it needs an overhaul. Hopefully whatever they're working on is going to fix some of the problems at least, but not hopeful. Mr. Spectacular 37 says, I approve this message, clapping emoji, thumbs up emoji, okay hand symbol emoji.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
I'm glad. Isn't the okay hand symbol like a Nazi thing now? Didn't they appropriate that? I don't think you're allowed to do that anymore. Yeah, wasn't that a thing a while back?
I've never heard that.
I don't know.
Bloodwolf says, Node War is dead, sadly. However, I enjoy Siege and especially Capped Siege. We rotate castles, so I am fortunate to be in an average Siege geared guild, around 675 average. But we have really great fights, and it's different every time. We usually have additional guilds or even sometimes alliances trying to take the region from our alliance. We've had alliance take it from us, and we love it because we love the hard fights. We've had to defend our fort once against 3 guilds, and we actually did it. We still do castle training during the week prior to castle defend. We have intense fights up until the end or until one guild just gives up, and then we decide who takes what and we settle. We have full attendance every siege. The only reason is the money and the enjoyment, but mainly the money. I enjoy capped gear because 650 don't stand a chance at uncapped siege. Sure, hard capped gear players get to do cheese builds but sure give them that benefit. I'm on a Sork, so capped even sucks with Sork, but I still enjoy living longer. I barely grind or do life skills, so Siege is my main income, and I do content that I love. Nothingness King says, slow rotating joystick. I don't know, man. You can make the camera speed quite fast. Would be great to see some of the PC folks hold a tournament on console with everyone using trial characters. They can see what we are rolling with.
I would love that. And I don't doubt that a lot of the controller people would actually knock out a bunch of the PC players for sure. And that the slow rotating joystick was a semi joke. I was picturing like 007 on Nintendo 64 where you're holding it and just like slow moving your camera across.
But it is a meme, but at the same time it's not a meme because you can't pull a quick ass 180 like you can on a mouse. Now you're not turning at the speed of snail, but you don't have the speed of a mouse. I guess you could if you have your sensitivity just insanely high, but that's got to be hard to control. Maybe some people can if they're good enough at controlling those types of speeds, but that's got to be hard.
I mean, is Is this really a complaint? I mean,
No,
you took you're playing a game that was originally designed for PC on console. You're
I don't think
kind
it's
of
a
asking
complaint.
for it.
I don't think it's a complaint. I think he's pointing out
No,
that
he was
there.
saying that the controller people would beat us. We don't understand. We're saying it's worse than it is.
Well,
It's the opposite of a complaint. He's saying, I think you guys don't realize like how much we can actually do with the controller. It's like literally the complete opposite of a complaint.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think he's actually.
He's saying start
is
a
he-
trial tournament and I will farm you fucking idiots, even with your mouse and keyboard.
I don't think he's even saying that though. I think he's just saying like do a console tournament and like see it how like good and quick we actually are. I don't think he's even saying put PC against console. He's just saying like they're
Well, he
really
said-
really good.
He
console
literally
players.
said would be great to see some of the PC folks hold a tournament on console with everyone using trial characters that can see what we were rolling with. Unless he's saying he wants PC players to use a controller. I guess he is saying that.
Yeah, which would make that very confusing, which is why I think he's just saying like do a console tournament and PC people come watch and see that we're actually like adept. We're not slow rotating joystick.
I think what he meant
Car-
to say was that he would fucking farm us.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Carstels says this was a good listen. Love the podcast. Thank you, Carstels. Vesper says, I hope they changed La Orzeka outfit and many others to show Striker and Mystic weapons.
Yeah. Although it looked
You mean
goofy,
their fists?
but they'd have to actually like design it to do it, but yeah. I don't know. It's a weird thing that your costume weapons don't show over some of the costumes, like with gloves and stuff, gauntlets.
Oh, really? It's weird.
Yeah. Mine Don't Compute says Node Wars Siege is pointless because the system is designed for players to engage as they know who is there, which if they know there's a reason to engage or not engage. People are lazy these days. If the system doesn't match the engagements and does it blind limits of how many X class can be in a certain number of players in a group, this is the result. Purely scripted and uninteresting sieges or node wars on a few dominant guilds. There needs to be a node war system that doesn't reveal who owns the nodes. The system should tell you what pathway you can choose or zone and notify both the occupying and the invasive guild when the time of the match is going to happen or time brackets for the match to happen. If the occupying guild declines the match, siege, etc., then the zone becomes neutral and the contesting I lost my place. This paragraph contesting would occupy the node after a few days. I do not agree that zones can be occupied for any extended amount of time. I believe that the even bigger problem is that a new player has no guidance as to how to engage in any node wars or PvP systems in the game. Most people are terrified to do it because besides now Arena Solaire, there is nowhere a new player in the war panel can engage into an RBF type mode that could simulate how a node war or siege works. New players need to be acquainted with what represents what the end game looks like and not be afraid to engage. That is why basically you got pointless small guilds that basically do nothing and why people say there is no end game. PA needs to create systems that drive the new player in form of quests and systems to get into guilds, do node wars, etc. Not having equalized PvP along with uncapped PvP as it stands. It's exactly why the game has suffered a drop in the player base.
You know,
Ah!
the whole quest thing, like quests to get you into guilds and whatnot. That's something that I know more modern games tend to do is they give you a quest to like force you to join a guild, even if it's just momentary, just so you can get the quick rewards, but at least get you familiar with joining a guild. BDO actually doesn't have that, I don't think.
Let GMs create real contracts and let us trade players.
Dude,
True.
yeah, turn it into a fucking management system for GMs. That sounds like a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Make it when they send that contract for whatever it is, make it like 100 million silver a day, 200 million silver a day, whatever. Make it something significant, and then you're locked in until the end of that term, and they have the right to trade you as a player. They can pull you out of the guild in exchange for someone else. Let's do it.
Damn. That actually is it's a pretty interesting idea. That would be fun.
It'd be so fucked, but it would also be really interesting. It'd be the most fucked up system that's super interesting of all time.
That's gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings, though.
Mm-hmm.
My
that don't get valued very high.
My undergeared ass would be more than Frosty because his class is useless in large scale.
Oh
It's
no.
not true. I have a tag system.
Sure. What do you even? Oh, your hash. That's right. That's
Uh,
fair.
Laggy Skills says, great podcast as always. The guests were pretty awesome and chill, had a lot of insights. Was great episode from all of you. Really enjoyed it. Random side note, mainly for the intern. I grinded Histria for 14 hours over the weekend. Arsha and Tint Buff, trying to get Rage Artifact, and that shit never drops. I remember Reslar saying he also grinded a long time there and didn't get one till the intern. It needs to be buffed. Second random note, why the hell can't people see the super armor icon on Suck Hash when we turn into the tornado? Aren't we supposed to be invisible? Intern, please fix this. Last random note, I did Seasons the other day, and it seems like they added a feature that gets your awakening in succession done by talking to an NPC in Velia and not having to go kill the mobs or do usual needed quests. Whoever came up with that needs a raise. We need more things like that.
Okay, first of all, with the tornado thing, that only applies in Battle Arena. Nowhere else in the game. Stop trying to go invisible on your friends in Battle Arena. I'm sorry, but just if you're trying to be completely invisible in Battle Arena, you use the tornado by yourself a little bit of time. You're not trying to be completely invisible when you're dueling friends in BA, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's a little BM.
Yeah, I miss the old days where you actually see the person inside it walking. Do you remember the fucking that one camera view that they had in AOA for a while, Reslar? They had the cinematic camera view. So whenever Suck Hash is winning in the tornado, you actually just saw them walking around on the ground slowly.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that shit was clean. That's how it should be.
Lil Pork Chop says this was a lot to take in. Haha, I ended up being too invested in the podcast to grind. Great work, lads. Keep it up. Thank you. Terrific Life says, long time ago you did a class tier list video. Any plans for doing a new one, or at least can you tell me, with all the changes, what is better, which Awakening or Succession? Yeah, when are we doing another tier list? I think it's time.
True. I'll make it simple.
Yeah, I don't know.
Musa's still S tier. May was F tier. There we go. Buff
Dude,
May.
our last one was a very long time ago, actually.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Maybe after the PvP changes, the Zerker nerfs come out, then we could do it. Because
Yeah.
doing it right now, right before the Zerker nerfs, would kind of be not smart, right? So maybe we can do it after that. Mace Plays says, I wish these were uploaded to Spotify weekly.
Yeah, that's my fault. Sorry.
I'm Smash says, I am Smoosh.
True.
Smoosh.
And Sui says, guys, stop insulting Nyashi. Stop wasting time. I still loving listening to the podcast, even though I don't play BDO anymore.
Wait, I wasn't here for like the last two podcasts. What did you guys say?
Nothing.
Were we insulting you?
Yeah, no, I don't remember doing that. Were we insulting him? I don't think we were.
I think
Suspicious.
someone said you need to stop putting up clown videos with misinformation.
Who?
Someone from Reddit said that about you. Yeah.
Yeah, you, with your clown
Wait,
videos.
oh no,
and your
I thought that was geared towards you.
It was, but I'm redirecting it to you because I don't really make videos, so it doesn't make sense.
I haven't posted a
say it to
video
you.
in a long time. What do you even mean?
It doesn't make sense.
Your Maywa guides are real clownish and spreading misinformation.
Apparently.
And that's it. That's all we got.
That's the show. Guys.
Any
that's it.
closing thoughts? Good to go?
That's it.
Good to get out of here?
Wednesday is a big patch. I'm excited for all my tornadoes on Hash.
Wednesday's a big patch indeed. Thank you everybody so much for listening. Like I said before we started the comments, we read them every single week, so leave a comment if you would like to tell us something, debate us about something. As long as it's not any sort of insult, then we will read it every single episode. Make sure to check out our Twitch streams. You can follow Frosty at twitch.tv/sofrosty, Nyashi at twitch.tv/Nyashi_NA, and myself at twitch.tv/NotReslar. All of those links are in the description of the video or the MP3, whichever you're listening to. Thank you again to the patrons, and we'll see everybody next week.